Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy there.
Got the wrong guy. The dog was biting him.
He roughing him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
No, I'm not Peyton Ansley John Milton. I'm the agent authorized to represent Peyton Ansley John Milton as written in all capital letters.
Thank you. And as to Mr. Milton, is there a competency concern, or
I am not represented by anybody besides myself. In my sovereign capacity, appreciate you.
Thank you, Your Honor. I did have an opportunity to speak to him. I read him the reports.
Who is him?
Don't interrupt.
I read him.
You just stay quiet.
Thank you.
I read him the report so that he will understand the charges against him. He didn't wish to hear anything more about his rights, and he does not wish to be represented.
Oh, man. Good morning. Welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict. A little blurry-eyed. Oh, that's better. That's better. Good morning, one and all. Welcome. I see preparations are underway. It is great to be here today. Hope you guys got a great night's rest and everything is just wonderful for you today. I know a couple of you are going through some things that are very difficult right now. Thoughts and prayers with you as well. Appreciate you being here. Hopefully we can help in some way. Hopefully you got your volume adjusted appropriately this morning as well, because it is, in fact...
Mike. What day is it, Mike? Guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Hump day! Welcome to Wednesday. Whew. Longest ever. I'm still lightheaded. It's hump day. We made it halfway through the work week. I knew only the faithful would be here, so it brings fewer regrets and questions later on in the program. It is Wednesday. We're excited to be here. Well, there went 500 subscribers. Hey, they didn't belong here anyway. No, just kidding. Welcome. So happy to be here and have you all here as well. I just let me take just a moment and say, well, why do I have that humming noise? It's my fan, but I don't know why it's making this rattle. Is it touching the desk somehow? I don't know. Weird. All right. Well, let me take a moment. That wasn't what I wanted to say. That was not it. I have something else I wanted to say. Let me take a moment and just say I have the most incredible mods on this channel. I could not do this whole YouTube thing without them. What we do, some of the fun traditions and fun times and practices we have here on this channel, impossible without them. They are absolutely amazing. The amount of time they dedicate to this is unreal. The amount of effort and coordination and work they put in just to make things nice for y'all and for me. I could never afford them. They're just amazing. So thank you. You guys mods are all of y'all are absolutely wonderful. That said, some other people are wonderful as well. Kelly H, thank you very much for a super sticker to kick things off. Selena K, finally slept last night, all night, and I had a dream about who else but chat. We're being dreamed about, guys. That's awesome. Selena, glad you got some sleep finally. I know it's been rough. I'm glad to see that you're now able to sleep a little bit. A DSN member for 30 months. 30. Oh, gee. Thanks for the membership, says, and gifts 5 memberships back. Thank you. DSN, appreciate your support of the channel and your generosity with everyone else. That is cool. Some people asked, what do you like seeing most on the channel as far as a donation? And hands down, it's membership gifting, hands down. Because then multiple people get to experience the joy and the appreciation of your generosity. But thank you all. You guys are amazing. All right. We did the hump day yell. And that was a good one. We hopefully you yelled with me, right? Let's see. We need. It's funny. There is a dip this morning. If I could show you the live stream, there was like a. I think that was the hump day yell. So people are like, I did not tune in for this. It is hump day. It is halfway through the work week, which means tomorrow is podcast day, podcast Thursday. Super excited for that. Did I do a song for Donna? I have not done a song for this trial yet. I'm not going to do one for Donna, I don't think. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Josh's birthday's up. Oh, there it is. I need to turn the buffer sound up, first of all. Thank you. Buffer sound is now up so I can hear it. And why is that? That level just seems hotter than normal. Got to figure out why it's making that little buzz. Anyway, I will solve that problem at a later point. We have birthdays today. Miss Texas Tam, Going Postal, Beginner Crafter, Tinez 827, Dory, who is Holly Max, Viewer Terrier, all celebrating their birthdays today. So we're going to celebrate with them. The sound you just heard is something Mrs. Ari does every morning. We have these beautiful old wooden stairs, original, 1915. Beautiful staircase, beautiful railing and everything.
Happy birthday.
It's antique and it's just incredible. I think it's oak wood on there, stained beautifully. In the morning, Mrs. R.A. takes the laundry basket with the laundry to be washed that day. And she sits at the top of the stairs and she aims it and then she lets go. And it goes down the stairs and shoots across our wood floor, aimed at the grandfather clock, which was a gift from my grandpa. It never makes it to the grandfather clock because the friction of the bag and everything, or the basket, stops it on the wood floor. But I love that sound. Mrs. R.A. is absolutely amazing. She does the laundry. You never ask her to. She just does it. And I get up in the morning and there's clean clothes in the closet. And thanks to Mrs. R.A., she's amazing. And that sound reminds me that she does it. Anyway, that said, let's sing Happy Birthday, right? Let's do that. Let's see. I'm on the wrong screen here. Home. Where's home? There it is. Okay. There we go. All right, we're going to sing Happy Birthday to, I already painted the wall around the stairs. I did that in 2 days. First I patched it, and then I painted it the next day. And yesterday, or the day before, I patched all the ceiling areas where there was cracks and things in the plaster. So I'm getting lots of things done. All right, we're going to sing Happy Birthday to Miss Texas Tam, Going Postal, Beginning Crafter, Tinez, and Dory. It works like this. Everyone stand up, take a deep breath. Shoulders back, project your voice to the back of the room, blend your voice with your neighbor, warm up with me if you will. La 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 la. That's gonna be a good one, I can tell. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Miss Texas Tam, Going Postal, Beginner Crafter, Tinez, and Dory. Happy birthday to you. It was close. But we got it done. Miss Texas Tam, Going Postal, Beginner Crafter, Tinez, 827, and Dory. Happy birthday. I realize there are a million places you could be, a million people you could have celebrated, but you chose to be here with us. The privilege, the pleasure, the honor is ours. Hopefully it returns with the joy we feel back to you. Make your day a little more special, or begin by helping yourself to free pancakes at Denny's, IHOP, Village Inn, Waffle House, McDonald's, Tammy Dunlap's house, Andy's Grill, Bob Evans, and Cracker Barrel. I think they're all back on the list now. Waffle House has been out of court long enough. It's safe to make another attempt. Happy birthday to all of you. What's in store today? Will Charlie make an entrance? Ooh, I wish we knew. Let's see. I thought that's how clothes work, says James. You throw them in the thing and they show up clean. James, how long have you been married? I asked this because the only alternative is you'd be living at home still. So, happy anniversary, whenever it was, James. That's awesome. Red Pan gifted 5 memberships. Red, in addition to doing all the modding work this morning with the other mods, just gives out free memberships. Congratulations to the recipients. Super T, yes. Cracker Barrel had a stint where they decided to change their logo, and now they've changed it back because apparently not everyone liked it. So it's back, I guess. Love the feeling of green first thing in the morning. It's almost like napalm, right? What was the saying? I love the smell of napalm in the morning. I love the feeling of green in chat first thing in the morning. Here's a drum solo for the finish, I think. Ready? Help me with this one. Is it this verse? It is. It was. That was it. All right. I think GPS was mentioned for today and more text. I know we've got a couple hours of the gentleman who finished up the day yesterday on the stand. Why is that just so... I don't know why we've got the buzzing noise we have. I know it's my fan. Okay, hold please, hold please. I don't want to turn the fan off. Yeah, that made it worse. That's good. Man, I'm going to have to turn it off. All right. First world problems there. All right. Let's see. I missed doing my drums. It's okay. We had a couple people cover for you. So this time only. It's okay. The missed drum line. Kelly, member for 10 months. Good morning, everyone. Kelly, thank you very much for your renewed membership. Congratulations. You are very close to the year mark where, I think you get an orange courthouse or something. So that would be cool. Let's see. Ready to start. I was at guilt before the trial started. Me, prejudice. First of all, it's great we recognize that. And I admit that I also in this trial am a little beyond the total presumption of innocence with Donna. And it's weird because normally I'm a big proponent of that, right? Innocent unless proven guilty. And in this case, James, that's awesome. In this case, we've seen evidence in other trials that was legal evidence about Donna, about Wendy, about Charlie, about Katie, about Mr. Seguero, or I think that's his name, about, the Tutu and Tulo, or whoever their names were, the gunman and assistant gunman. We've seen all this evidence. We've seen the financial stuff. We've heard about the texts. And so it's hard to walk into the trial for Donna Adelson and say, wow, I wonder if the state's going to be able to prove anything. They've proven it 4 times. Right, we've had 4 trials so far, or they've proven it 3 times. One was a mistrial. So it is hard to give her the presumption of innocence there, but that's where I'm at, and I recognize that's where I am with this trial. So I apologize if y'all are disappointed in me for being a little ahead of the jury on this one, on my decision. Selena K gifted a membership as well. Selena, thank you very much for your generosity. Does RA have pants on? No, it's a shorts day. I always wear shorts. I can't remember the last time I live streamed with pants on, like actual pants. Tattoo and Tuto. Okay, that's the one. I couldn't remember. I knew it was Tutu something. Let's see. I never paid attention to the Adelson case before. If the state can make that connection to Donna and the bump, I'm a solid guilty. I'll tell you, if they can do that, it would be, I think it would be in the bag. And I think that they needed that bump. I don't think they needed the bump to sort of put the pieces together and know who the gunman was. I think they needed the bump to see if Donna was involved. And that's what the bump gave them. Not just to see if she was, but to confirm her level of involvement, that it reached that level where she could be considered a co-conspirator in the case. And that bump is going to be very key in presenting that to the jury. And her response to the bump, I think, is key. So, good stuff all around. Okay, I need to fix the audio this morning, I know, because I was playing with it last night. We'll try to keep it nice and loud this morning because the judge usually stands when he starts talking. The hung jury was Katie's first. Second trial, Katie was life without parole. Katie, amazing witness yesterday. Okay, first of all, brought in chains, cuffs and chains, serving life without parole. Life means life in Florida. That doesn't mean after 20 years of good behavior you get out. No, she's going to be in the whole time, unless something drastic happens. We're talking like pardons from the governor or some. I don't know. It's got to be next level stuff to get her out. I don't think a governor can pardon. I don't know. That's usually death penalty only. So she's in. She's helping. She hopes that somehow her assisting in this case will let her at least see her kids again. That's her hope. No one has promised her anything. No one has said, hey, if you do this, there's a good chance, I'll put in a good word. That's not there. But what she did have in both of her trials, the first trial and the mistrial and the one she was convicted in, she did have an offer from the state, from the same prosecution, to say, if you'll tell us, testify against everybody you know about, we will grant you immunity. You'll get probation. And she turned it down because she would not testify against her then husband or partner. And both times she turned it down and got life without parole. She rolled the dice and lost with her liberty, which is crazy to think, seeing her there now testifying, doing the same thing the state asked her to do before, now without the benefit. And she has absolutely, she lost everything in that deal. She lost everything because she would not turn, and the jury convicted her. And she testifies for free. She gets nothing. It's remarkable. Yes. The extradition, that really helps to set the guilty conscience, or what's it called? It's the mentality that I'm guilty, I'm trying to run from it. Okay, run and hide. I forget what it's called this morning. You guys can remind me. But yeah, the one-way ticket to Vietnam. Not a good look for someone who's being investigated. Why don't they all go full on Charlie did it? Wouldn't that be smart? You'd think, but there were texts, there were emails, there were phone calls. Consciousness of guilt. Thank you, James. I could not, that name was just escaping me. Guilty conscience. It's almost the same thing. I just had them in the wrong order. Problem is that she's too tied to Charlie. Yeah, the connections are too close. Has anyone ever received a divorce present? I have not. I've not been through that experience. Mrs. R.A. is absolutely patient beyond the max, which is probably the only reason. She said it was because death penalty was on the table for him, and she didn't want to be responsible for another loss of life. Does that mean a change of heart? She had a change of heart, but not enough to turn on the person? I can hear that, but it sounds like I loved my guy too much. I wasn't gonna put it on the tape. If they were gonna put him to death, then I'd feel bad about that. But I don't think that's I'm opposed to death penalty as a moral conviction, because you literally just arranged a hit, right? You shot somebody through a gunman, through a hitman. You killed somebody, a father of a couple kids. You killed him in cold blood. For what? an upgrade in bra size and some spending money, that this was all that it took for you to say, oh yeah, I guess murder's not so bad. Yeah. Anyway. All right. We are about ready to go to court. It is 8:52. The judge has said everyone should be there at 8:45, including the jury. Through a divorce party for yourself. That seems more reasonable. Couple cars and a motorcycle. Those are the hitmen, but the girl who arranged it, all she had left, I mean, all she got was literally the enhancement, the figure enhancement surgery. She spent a little money here and there for a few months, and she had a bag of moldy money in the closet. That's what she did this for. That buzz is so annoying. Listen to this. Now you can hear it, huh? You can hear it when I turn it off. All right, we'll get that sorted. I don't want to put a. I don't understand why RICO violations have not been leveled at Donna. RICO, it's got to be that criminal enterprise level. It's got to be the next level. Usually, if it's just one crime and the things associated with it, you would get some fraud or embezzlement or whatever the charge might be financially. RICO is like, we've set up this system to commit these crimes, and it has this financial component to it, and this is how we launder the money. That's where I would go RICO, I think. Let's see. And a vehicle. She got a car out of it? Is that the wireframe car they couldn't find a picture of? That was so funny. It's like, what, Google wasn't working that day? Come on, prosecution. You've got insert car image here in your slideshow that you're showing the jury. And trust me, whatever she bought, it was not so rare that you could not find a picture on the internet. Let's see. So, Rosa, are you asking about the FU trees? Let's see. Oh, red pens giving out secrets. RA has a tree trimming story about those letters. Yes, the F and the U. I do. Which stands for fed up. I designed divorce earrings, one F and one U. That is awesome. Sub Rosa, you were thinking the same thing as I was. You reach a point where you're just fed up, and I'm not going to take anymore. I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to show how fed up I am. I did that with foliage, greenery, bushes, trees to be exact, actually, on my property after a neighbor turned me into code enforcement for the terrible crime. Well, it's not a crime. It's an infraction. I'm not even sure if it's that. It's a violation of code, an ordinance, not like a law, just like hey, we want everyone to do this in our city. My trees grew too close to the sidewalk, and those trees were fruit trees. And I did not pick the fruit because it was full of worms, and some of the fruit fell on the ground. And so they turned in my trees to code enforcement. The code enforcement truck came around, looked at the trees, and sure enough, they did in fact encroach on the sidewalk in one part. And instead of just knocking on my door and saying, "Hey, can I pick the fruit?" I'm appalled that you're wasting those 3 peaches that grow on that tree, or all 6 of those pears. I think it was pears. No, it was apples. I can't remember. No, pears. Got to be pears. All 6 of those pears, could have gone to make my breakfast or something. It could have, if you like wormy pears. But instead of knocking on my door and talking to me about it, they went straight to code enforcement, and I got a citation on the door with a fix-it ticket, and it's about 7 pages long in legal pages with tiny font, which basically lists every rule ever. And then they check the one that applies to you, and it's something about trees must not encroach on the space around the sidewalk, whatever. And so I had to trim my trees, both looking, because they grew between the sidewalk and the road, right? It's a little park space tree. They're dwarf trees, is what they're designed to do. And I had to trim the trees. and I had to trim them back. And first I did trim them back so that they were in compliance with the sidewalk perfectly. Trim them back. And then I turned and I faced the house and looked at the trees, knowing that the trimming job I had done would probably kill them. I thought, well, how can I set a message and let people know that that this was not cool to force me to trim my trees like that? And I got creative and I started trimming, and I trimmed the tree on the left as you're facing the house into the letter F, and the tree on the right into the letter U, which did destroy the trees. I mean, like they're terrible now. They look absolutely awful. But in big block letters, you can see FU as you look at my house, so that when the code enforcement guy came back in like 7 days to check and see if we're compliant, he drives by and looks over. FU. Yep, they're in compliance. And I loved it. And I posted pictures of it online. And I probably had a little bit of a nastygram message that went with those pictures. And the sheriff of the county laughed so hard and thought it was so funny that he came by personally to look at the trees and take pictures himself. And he said, that's the best thing I've ever heard. That is so funny. But I then sold the house with the trees in that shape. And apparently nobody knew and noticed. But Amy, you have an awesome voice. Were you in radio broadcasting before YouTube? I worked in television. I went to school. I took radio classes in school, in college. That's my degree is in that whole electronic media. So I've done a little bit of radio work, but nothing major. Done some voiceover stuff.
Session.
All right, we're in. The story took us all the way to the beginning of court.
11:45 is what time he needs to be leaving to go to.
Oh, I've got pictures. I've got pictures of the trees. Wait, I thought we were starting, but apparently we're not. Pixar didn't happen. Hang on. We'll bring you some pics. Select, cancel, search. What does it search? It would be easier to find this when I searched for trees on my phone. If I didn't also, at one point for almost a year, run a Instagram channel called These Three Trees, where I took pictures, sometimes 10 or 20 pictures a day of the same three trees in various lighting environments, various sunrise times of day, everything else. Beautiful pictures. The account's still up there if you want to see beautiful pictures of trees every morning. I've lost the password to get in, so I can't post anymore, but I've got like 6,000 pictures of trees I have to scroll through to find the ones that I trimmed. So hold, please. Oh, there they are. Let's see, 1 second. Mrs. R.A. just brought me breakfast. Look, it's apple slices, toast, and eggs, scrambled eggs. That didn't fix it. That's terrible. Turn the fan back on. Oh, no. Please. I've got a buzzing in my ears, and it's just not going away. Let's see.
It's old age, babe.
No, it's not that. I can hear it. September 12th, 2018. Okay. I've got a picture. This is a picture of a tweet, so you get to see the story as well as. Let's see, we'll send it to. That one. I think it's a 60 hertz hum is what I'm hearing. So I'll get that fixed. I just need to find what's buzzing. What's causing it. Okay, picks. It's coming. Just wait for it. We'll get the FU trees. If you might want to take a screenshot because it's going to take a second. But all right, you guys ready? Beezy, here you go. These are my trees. We're outside my house. The caption, if it's too small for you, reads, "Hey, anonymous neighbor who never talked to me before complaining to code enforcement about my fruit trees. I trimmed them up for you and now they're compliant. Hope you like them. Hashtag bonsai FU. Hashtag code enforcement. Hashtag fed up." That was as nice as thing I could say at the time, I think. That was that was it. Anyway, yes, that's true. That's real. There's no CJE. There is no. It wasn't apple. It was a peach and an apple. I can see that now. But anyway, that was probably as passive aggressive as I get. But yeah, I wouldn't have like harmed anyone. That's not in my nature. But. I'm not against taking a stand and making a statement. The funny thing with the sheriff was just like, I was a little bit worried that somebody be like, "Hey, that's obscene. You can't do that." But no, I got nothing but support. What was funny is that the same time I was doing this with the FU trees, we were attempting to convince a company that was installing fiber internet to install in our neighborhood. Like we wanted our whole subdivision, that whole area, a couple hundred houses to get internet. And they're like, "We only do it if there's a big support." And I'm like, "There will be support if you make it available. People will buy. Trust me." And they're like, "No, they need to be like pre-sign up and be like interested and show interest on the website." The way I figured out how to do that is I went to somebody who had just had an installation of fiber internet, and they give you this nice nifty sign that's like, "I got fiber internet, it's here. Fiber's so fast. Don't you wish you were cool like me?" It's one of those signs. And I said, "Can I please buy your sign?" And they said, "Take it." And so I got the sign and I stuck it in my yard. And all the neighbors got to look at my sign saying, "I've got fiber internet," which I didn't have, but I just had the sign. And they also got to see the FU trees. So I had so many people that catches attention, the sign. And the sign actually, I think, distracted them from the trees. Nobody said a thing about the trees. And they all were like, "How do you get internet? How do you get fiber?" It's like, "Oh, you go to this website and you sign up, and then in like a year, they'll be here." It didn't take a year. It took a month or two to build it out. But we got the neighborhood on board with fiber, which was amazing, and it worked. I am diabolical in my methods. I have a method to my madness, but it was fun. We got so much attention. We got so many people all at once because it spread like wildfire because everyone was talking about it. That the company that installs the internet, I think it was called Utopia, came out with one of their trucks, and they brought their portable truck that they bring fiber with. I still don't understand how this works. They park it in an area where they have fiber. They run fiber to the truck, and they're like, "Hey neighbors, just come on in. We've got a couple of computers. Try it. Use our computers and try our fast internet. And then we're gonna tell us if you're interested. Sign up on the list." And they brought the truck out, and everyone was like, "Woo, this is fast. Yes, please." Did they give you yours for free? No, I had to. This tells you, this is before I was YouTubing, okay? But I valued fast internet so much. I paid out of pocket $3,000 for them to run fiber to my house. That's so they wouldn't like finance it and wrap it into my plan for the rest of eternity. I thought I was going to live in that house forever. I'm like, $3,000. It's cheaper to pay it up front now and use our whole tax refund. Having kids has its benefits on installing fiber than paying, an extra, I don't know, $75 a month for the rest of my life. I'm saying it's gonna balance out. I think it'll be better. Plus, we own it now, and it did help. We got to list that the fiber is installed, and you own it when you buy the house. So, yeah, $3,000. A couple months after we did the install, Utopia reworked their business model and basically said now installs only cost $250. So there's that. So had I waited and not got the internet there so quickly, I could have saved myself a bundle of money. But no, I was impatient. All right. Yeah, it was so expensive. So expensive. Literally had a ALLO install fiber square across my yard to a pedestal they put there. I still don't have it to my house. I use Xfinity. We were on a corner lot. The FU Tree house was on a corner lot, and they had to dig a hole like every few feet to run the fiber. It was when they dug the holes like every few feet. Every time they broke our sprinkler lines, chunk, chunk, chunk. They just broke it into sections, and then they fixed it. But they'd fix it by we took out one sprinkler and we just bypassed the sprinkler, so now there's no sprinkler there. And we fixed it by just sticking the pipes together, but we didn't glue them. It was terrible, and we made them come back out and repair all our sprinklers, and they were not happy about it, and they took forever, and our lawn died. But we probably had 7 of those holes they dug in our property because we were right on the corner, so it went down both sides of the property. Is the FU tree still there? I think the new homeowner took them out. The new homeowner took out almost all the trees. We had some beautiful maple trees and things like that growing. We had a rope swing there. There was a maple tree. There was a bunch. They zero-scaped the whole yard. That is so loud. Like a herd of elephants coming in. So I think they took everything out. They added solar to the roof and paved extra parking lot on the side yard. So.
Everyone can be seated.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning, members of the jury. We are about to resume with the examination of Sergeant Corbett. Before we get started today, I did want to ask you as a group, we are still good on the snacks? Everybody has enough?
Thank you.
All right. Headed back to Costco this weekend if need be, but let the bailiffs know. Ms. Dugan, you may examine as necessary.
We need to add that to the counter because the judge is making a funny.
All right, so before we go back to your PowerPoint demonstrative, I want to show you one thing. And before I show it to you, Judge, I'd like to offer State 64 JJ into evidence by stipulation.
That's correct, Your Honor. 64 JJ is admitted at this time.
Oops. Double click.
Right, Sergeant Corbett, is this appear to be an email from Donna Harvey at gmail.com?
Yes.
Okay, subject, bad news.
Correct.
And it was sent on June 25th of 2013 at about 11 p.m.
That would be GMT or UTC time, so we would need to subtract 4 hours from that to be local time, but yes.
Okay, thank you. So sometime the night of June 25th of 2013.
Correct.
And that was the same day as I believe the plan of action email that we saw yesterday from your PowerPoint, which was sent just a couple of days after Wendy's relocation was denied.
That's correct.
Okay. And so in this email sent about 5 days after Wendy's relocation was denied from Donna and Harvey to some friends, Does it say, not in the mood to talk right now, and hope you'll understand. Wendy's hearing for relocation was denied. No chance at the appellate level for an appeal. We are all very disappointed. We'll talk soon, I promise. Love, Donna.
Yes.
Does it appear her understanding is it's denied and there's no chance for an appeal?
That would be correct, yes.
Okay, well, let me switch you back over. Thank you. Okay, so where we left off yesterday, we went through some of the emails showing Donna Adelson's involvement in the divorce, text messages showing her venting to Charlie Adelson about the divorce. Are you familiar with Luis Rivera's statements to law enforcement in 2016 after his arrest, that he and Garcia traveled to Tallahassee not only in the month of July of 2014 to kill Dan Markel, but also made an additional trip in the month of June of 2014?
Yes.
And were you able to corroborate that from the phone records?
Yes, we were.
Okay, so now I want to go in chronological order then, from the start of the June trip all the way through the July trip when Dan Markel was murdered. How did Garcia and Rivera get to Tallahassee for the June trip?
In a rental vehicle.
And were we able to find the rental contract for that vehicle?
We were, yes.
All right, can you show that to us?
Yes, so this is slide 107. I'm referencing here a rental contract from Comfort Rental Car in Miami. And again, yes, this would be the vehicle that was rented to come to Tallahassee for the June trip.
What date was the car rented?
So looking at the details here, we can see the date out, and I'm looking to the right side of the screen here is June 2nd of 14. And we see at the bottom here, the vehicle is due back in 6/5 or June 5th of 14.
Okay, so it was a 3-day rental then?
Correct.
About what time on June 2nd was it rented?
Well, presuming the 24-hour rental periods, as it is due back at 8:50 p.m., then it would have been rented around 8:50 p.m. on the 2nd.
8:50 p.m. on the 2nd?
Yes.
Okay. What type of car did Garcia rent for this first trip to Tallahassee in June?
Again, looking to the right here of slide 107, it is a silver Nissan Altima.
And the contract was signed by Garcia?
That is correct.
Does Luis Rivera's name appear anywhere on that contract?
It does not.
Are there any phone records to show how this rental car was picked up?
Yes.
Did you get location information from Magbanwa's records that night that helped shed some light on that?
We did, and this may be the time to point out, for Mr. Garcia, his carrier was Metro PCS, kind of transitioning into T-Mobile at that time, and we were unable to obtain location records for his handset for the June trip. We do have location information for Ms. Magbanwa and for Luis Rivera, but we do not have any records with location for Mr. Garcia for this particular time frame.
Okay, so what do we see here?
So what we see here is just a map depicting Ms. Magbanwa's residence at the time and the location of the Comfort rental car near the airport here. And as I progress to slide 109, this is representing the cell sites that Ms. Magbanwa's handset communicated with the evening of June 2nd. And we can see on the right-hand side of this, around 8:25 p.m., her handset was communicating with a cell site that would be near her residence. At 8:34, she's now communicating with a cell site further to the west. And then we see at 8:53 through 8:58, she's communicating with a cell site that would be servicing the area of the airport or Comfort rental car. And this will be consistent with her handset traveling from her residence to the area of Comfort rental car.
And would that put her cell phone then consistent with Comfort rental car around the same time that Garcia is renting that car if there's 24-hour rental periods with that contract?
Yes, and we see here slide 110, again, we're depicting the particular sector that her handset was using by the large red arrow. And we can see that that sector would specifically be consistent with servicing the Comfort Rent-A-Car. We see she has events from 8:53 through 8:58 on that particular cell site and sector. And as we recall, the rental contract vehicle was due back at 8:50.
Does she stay in that area for a while, or does she kind of immediately return back to her residence?
So what we see next, we saw those events through 8:58, and then we have an event at 9:17, and then another event we see to the right. This is slide 111. To the right side, we see cell sites at 9:43 and 10:01, which will be consistent with her returning to her residence. So she does stay in the area of Comfort for a short period of time.
Okay. Did you look at her records to see who she was talking to during this trip to the car rental and back?
Yes.
Okay, who was she talking? Okay, I'm sorry. What do we see here?
So this is a summary of the call detail records. Previously, we saw the actual raw records as they come from AT&T. We saw that there was a lot of information on the page. So with our analytical software, we're able to produce these summaries, which allow us to assign names. We can convert the date and time to our local time, and it just makes it easier to read those call detail records. So this is just a summary of the calls for the subjects that you see here for the evening of June 2nd around the time of this rental car.
So who was she talking to on the way to Comfort Rental?
Geico, the 800 number that returns to Geico Insurance.
And is that the first line up on the call detail records we see?
It is, yes.
And does Geico Insurance sell car insurance?
They do.
Now, obviously we see some of the co-conspirators talking to each other here on the call detail records. Do we expect most of these co-conspirators to be talking to each other on a daily basis, given that some of them are family members, some of them are dating, they have relationships outside of this crime?
Certainly.
Okay. Are you going to be walking us through in your presentation today certain time periods of communication between the parties that stood out in this investigation?
Yes.
What causes a particular period of time to stand out?
The particular times of interest would be those that overlap with physical events or specific events in the crime, in the conspiracy of the crime. So this is the evening of the renting of the vehicle that Mr. Garcia and Mr. Rivera are going to drive to Tallahassee in to commit the homicide. So this seems, in the scheme of things, to my understanding, the first kind of physical doing act of this homicide. And so that would be a relevant time frame to look at.
Okay. All right, so using a timeline, can you walk us through the communication between the parties for this particular significant time, this first car rental for the first trip to Tallahassee for the murder of Dan Markel?
Yes. And so using the timeline, we will kind of look at what's happening as far as Ms. Magbanowa's travels compared to who she's communicating with when. And this is taken from that same exact summary that we just saw. But as I move on here, we see that in the time frame, we saw the cell sites of her traveling to the area of Comfort Rental Car between approximately 8:25 and 8:53 p.m. is when we see that she has the phone call to Geico.
Okay, was she talking to Garcia at all during that drive to the Comfort Rental area?
She does not have any communications with Mr. Garcia during this time frame.
Since they don't have communications with each other, could that be consistent with her giving him a ride to the car rental since he is the person who rented the car at that time?
Objection or speculation. Overruled, the witness may testify based on his analysis of these records.
It is certainly consistent when we don't see communications between two parties that they could in fact be together and have no need to actually call one another.
Okay. They could just not be together and also not talking to each other.
That's correct.
All right. But the reason that this could be consistent with her giving him a ride there is because once she's consistent with that area, it seems that that's the time that the car is being rented.
That is correct.
Okay. Now, who attempts to call Catherine Magbanowa once she is consistent with Comfort Rental, dropping off Garcia?
So again, at the time frame, her handset would be consistent with the area of Comfort Rental. we see an incoming call from Charlie Adelson at 8:57 p.m.
After Magbanoa, if she has dropped off Garcia at this point to rent the car, and this car ends up obviously being the one that is driven to Tallahassee to kill Dan Markel, who did she call on the phone at this point after Garcia is dropped off?
So again, from her cell sites, we saw she had an event at 9:17, which was kind of the first indication that she was moving away from the area of Comfort Rental Car. And what we see is that at 9:17:58, she places an outbound call to Charlie Adelson.
So as soon as she's no longer in the area of Comfort Rental, she's calling Charlie Adelson.
Correct.
How long is that conversation?
A little over 25 minutes.
What time do they get off the phone?
Approximately 9:43 p.m.
Okay, 9:43 in about 25 seconds, it looks like.
Correct.
Right after Charlie Adelson hangs up with Catherine Magbanoa at 9:43 and 25 seconds, who does he call less than a minute later?
Charlie calls the Adelson residence.
Adelson residence. What do you mean by that?
The home phone or landline phone for Donna and Harvey Adelson.
Okay, so this is a landline that presumably they would both use that's located in their house.
Correct.
Okay, and how long does that conversation between Charlie and the Adelson residence last?
Also just over 25 minutes.
Who does Catherine Magbanoa call once she is back in the area of her home?
What we see in just after 10, she calls, text. There's a few communications back and forth here with Sigfredo.
Okay, do Harvey Adelson and Charlie Adelson then talk on their cell phones that night?
Yes, there are two calls, and we can see 10:16 that Harvey Adelson calls Charlie Adelson. At 10:27, Charlie Adelson calls Harvey Adelson.
So this is Charlie and Harvey talking on Harvey's cell phone, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, does Charlie Adelson call or receive calls or messages from Donna Adelson's cell phone that night?
Not that night, no.
So if Charlie Adelson talked to Donna Adelson on the phone that night, then it would have been that 25-minute call to the landline right after he hung up with Catherine Magbanoa, is that right?
That
calls for speculation.
Overall,
he's an expert.
He's not definitively saying what did or did not occur, what might have been possible. You may continue.
So yes, it is possible that he spoke to Donna, and that would have been on that landline call.
Because then he talks to Harvey on Harvey's cell phone later that night.
That's correct.
Can you walk us through any other calls or texts between any co-conspirators that night?
So we see an additional text between Catherine and Sigfredo, and then Catherine calls Charlie again 10:41 p.m. For about a 23-minute phone call.
Are you familiar with, I want to go back to this landline call. Do you mind going back to the slide right before this? Are you familiar with statements by Charlie Adelson from the 2016 wiretap in this case that we'll hear beginning later today?
Yes.
Where Charlie Adelson tells people on his cell phone that he'll call them back on a landline.
Yes.
As someone who's familiar with technical operations of law enforcement and wiretapping, is there a perception that talking on a landline is safer than talking on a cell phone?
Yes, I think that may be a perception.
Okay.
it's
Does Charlie
just a
Adelson
perception.
most often talk to Donna Adelson and Harvey Adelson on their cell phones or on the landline?
Most frequently on their cell phones.
Okay. But we see that after he gets off with Catherine Magbanoa that night, he does call the landline.
That's correct.
Okay, and this is right after the car is rented, the rental car.
Correct.
All right, what percentage of total communication does Charlie Adelson has with Donna and Harvey is to their landline?
I'll have to move forward here just a little bit. We had talked about the call from Catherine to Charlie. There's a final call or some communication between Ms. Magbanoa, Mr. Sigfredo, Mr. Garcia later that evening of the 2nd. And then to get to your question, and this is slide 122, just a breakdown looking at Charlie Adelson's communication records and trying to eliminate all the duplicate events that we saw previously where one phone call may make 3 events in the record. So trying to whittle all those down. What we see in this time period between May of 2014 through August of 2015 is 28 communications with the landline and 1,378 with the combined cell phones of Harvey and Donna Adelson. So a little under 2% of the calls to the residents.
So during that little over a year time span, he only has 28 calls ever with Donna and Harvey's landline. Is that right?
That's correct.
And one of those is that 25-minute call right after Magbanua would have dropped Garcia off to have the car rented.
That's correct.
Are you familiar with Rivera's statement that he did not participate in the car rental for the June trip to Tallahassee?
Yes.
Were you able to corroborate that with the phone records?
Yes, so looking at slide 123, we see Mr. Rivera. His cell sites are in the blue, listed by the blue dots here. We see that his cell sites are consistent with the area of his residence and a significant distance away from the comfort rental car.
Do we have any other evidence that shows who rented the car for this June trip to Tallahassee on June 2nd?
Yes.
What's this?
So there was a citation issued to Mr. Garcia driving that rental vehicle, that Nissan that we saw from the rental contract at Comfort. And this is the evening of June 2nd.
So we got a speeding ticket?
Okay, and what
In the
time did
rental?
he receive this traffic ticket?
9:48 p.m.
So would this have been approximately an hour after 8:50 p.m. and about an hour after, or about maybe 45 minutes, I guess, after Catherine Magbanua is leaving the comfort rental area?
Yes.
Okay, and what kind of car was he in when he received this traffic ticket?
It is a 4-door silver Nissan.
Okay, so it seems as if as soon as he rented that vehicle, within an hour, he's getting a traffic ticket in the vehicle.
He was
Yes.
testing the top speed.
And are you familiar with Jeffrey Lacosse's statement that he drove a silver Nissan sedan at the time that this happened?
Yes.
Now, this traffic ticket that Garcia received, this would have received, or it would have created a record in law enforcement databases that he was in possession of this Nissan silver sedan, right?
Correct.
So after he got this traffic ticket, what did he do?
Well, what we saw was an additional comfort rental contract where it would appear that he returned the Nissan and obtained a different vehicle. So this is slide 125, and we can see that on June 3rd, he now has a blue Hyundai Sonata.
And does Rivera's name appear anywhere on that rental contract?
It does not.
Rumor is they're sort of quick. Oh, he stripped the label
All right,
off.
and that's on June 3rd, you said?
Correct.
So what can you tell us about the travel of Mr. Rivera's handset on June 4th of 2014?
So what we see, again, just looking at Mr. Rivera's cell sites, represented in blue here, we can see that in the early morning hours of the 4th, on the lower right hand of slide 127 here, we can see he has activity in the Miami area. And as time progresses through the early morning hours until just after noon, he continues to communicate with cell sites that would be consistent with travel from the Miami area to Tallahassee.
And are you familiar with Rivera's statement that he and Garcia did surveillance of Dan Markel at a park near Dan Markel's home during that trip?
Yes.
Was his phone ever consistent with being in a park near his home, Dan Markel's home on Truscott Drive?
Yes, and slide 129 here, we see that, again, the blue dot representing Mr. Rivera's cell site usage is close to Mr. Markel's residence, which is indicated here on the top right by the flag and the address of Truscott Drive. And in addition to his cell site location, we talked previously about having some GPS information from the rental vehicle, and we can see by the square icon there that there is a GPS location for the rental vehicle, again, in close proximity and actually at, I believe that's Winthrop Park there.
And if they're located right there where that blue square is on the map, and the killers are familiar with the type of car that Dan Markel drives, would they be able to see then his ingress and egress from Trescott Drive onto Benton Road?
They should be able to see him passing on Benton Road, yes.
And after this GPS ping near Markel's home, where does Rivera travel at that point?
What we see in the next slide, 130 here, is that immediately after that, we see the cell site usage starting at the top around 3:25 p.m. and continuing through until the late evening hours of the 5th would be consistent with traveling back to the Miami area.
Does he get back in the, looks like the early morning hours of June 6th?
That's correct.
Close 12:47 a.m.?
Correct.
Now, did you look at the communication between all the co-conspirators during this trip to Tallahassee to see if there was any opportunity for information to be relayed?
Yes. So what we see, again, from the time of the rental car on the 2nd through the 4th, again, to answer the question, is there an opportunity for communications to occur between these subjects? This again is another summary of the call detail records, just showing the communications between, again, the primary subjects of the investigation.
Okay, and how much were they talking?
So in that time frame, if we go back to kind of our organization here and split out, we can see just numbers of communications or attempted communications. These may be text messages, calls, but just records of communications or attempts. We see that there are a number between Donna Adelson and Charlie Adelson, between Charlie Adelson and Catherine Magbanawa, and between Magbanawa and Garcia. And then as that continues, so for the total number of communications, we can see those between each of the subjects.
Okay, and is Catherine Magbanawa the only one who is talking to Garcia or Rivera during that trip on this chart?
That's correct.
And is Charlie Adelson the only Adelson family member who talks to Catherine Magbanawa?
That's correct.
And do Donna Adelson and Charlie Adelson also have communication or attempted communication?
I'm sorry?
Do Donna Adelson and Charlie Adelson also have communication or attempted communication?
Yes.
Okay. Now, going next to June 7th, which would be the day after the killers arrived back in Miami without having killed Dan Markel on this trip. Earlier in the presentation, yesterday, right before we broke in the afternoon, we saw we're back in March of 2014. Donna Adelson tells Charlie Adelson she has to talk to him about something private while she's on the road on the way to Gainesville, and says to erase this text. Do you remember that?
I do, yes.
Okay. And
Thank
then
you,
a few
Kelly.
minutes after she sends that message, she says the subject of the private call is going to be about Dad's birthday.
Correct.
Dad's birthday gift, actually. Is that right?
Yes.
And she does not tell him to erase that text where she's saying the subject of the private call.
That's correct.
Now, in June, specifically on June 7th, did Donna Adelson and Charlie Adelson exchange texts about this birthday present for Harvey Adelson again?
Yes. So slide 137, we see two chats between Charlie Adelson and Donna Adelson, where Charlie indicates he's, okay, have fun, still working on Dad's B-Day present. And Donna Adelson responds, I know it's a tough B-Day being 70 and all, but I know you'll come through.
Okay, and this still working on Dad's B-Day present would be the day after the killers arrived back in Miami without having killed Dan Markel.
Correct.
Okay, and this birthday present was mentioned back in March. About, would that be about 4 months before Harvey Adelson's birthday?
Yes.
All right, going forward to July 3rd. Was there an evite to Harvey Adelson's birthday sent to Wendy Adelson that day?
Yes, a reminder email that was sent on July 3rd.
Okay. And when is the party?
So as we see, kind of focusing in here on the details of this email, the party, a friendly reminder that Donna's event is coming up on Saturday, July 5th, 2014 at 7:30 p.m.
Okay, and was it addressed to Wendy, and we blurred out their names, but her two sons, and listed Wendy and her two sons' last name as Adelson?
Yes.
Was Dan Markel still alive on July 5th of 2014?
He was.
And what last name, an Adelson though, is listed as the boy's last name here when this is sent?
And I'm sorry?
Sorry, Adelson is listed as the boy's last name though, regardless of the fact that Dan Markel is still alive on this date?
That's correct.
And this was about 2 weeks before Dan Markel was killed?
Yes.
Now, Donna is listed as the host here, but was there further evidence in the records that Donna Adelson was not only the host, but was also the person who sent these evites?
Yes.
Okay, can you tell us about that?
There was at least one other email from the Donna Harvey at Gmail account to Evite inquiring about whether the evites had been sent. The title of the email, I believe, is "Have My 14 Invitations Been Sent?" She's following up. It is signed by Donna Adelson, following up on whether those evites have actually gone out, and it indicates that basically she's unfamiliar with the process, but she had listed the attendees under the contact section on their form.
So she's the one that's listing the invitees for the contacts for Evite?
Per that email, yes.
And checking to make sure the invitations did get sent through the Evite service?
Correct.
And does she also send a message to another person saying, did you get the Evite? Did you get my Evite?
Yes.
All right. I want to move on to then a couple of days later, July 6th. So would this be the day after the party?
Yes.
Okay, what message was found in the cell brite of Wendy Adelson's cell phone on July 6th?
So this is slide 142. There is a text message from Wendy Adelson to Dan Markel asking if he is in Tallahassee for the dates of July 14th through the 18th.
And she says she wants to know because she wants to know if she can have the kids on the 16th?
Correct.
And he replies, yes, you can?
Correct.
So chronologically, this would have occurred after the trip to Tallahassee in June by the killers, but before the July trip to Tallahassee when Dan Markel was actually murdered?
Correct.
Now, the dates that Wendy Adelson is asking Dan Markel about, what is significant about those dates? What happened on July 15th?
Those dates encompass the rental car and the trip to Tallahassee and ultimately Mr. Markel's death.
Okay. So July 15th was the day that the killers rented the car to come to Tallahassee.
Correct.
And then they were in Tallahassee from the 16th through the 18th.
Correct.
With Dan Markel being killed on the 18th.
Correct.
And where was Wendy Adelson when she sent this message?
So.
Oh, thank you. Let me ask you about this. Was there already a schedule in place as to who would have the kids during those dates that Wendy Adelson asked Dan Markel about?
Yes, there was. So this is an email from Wendy Adelson's Gmail account referencing the schedule for the children for this particular time. And we can see in the email that Mr. Markel is listed to have the children the 11th through the 17th.
We can get 140 more
likes. The date she was asking about is the 16th?
Correct.
In the next
and
19
in
minutes.
the top of that email, does it say that she gets the kids every Wednesday anyway?
Thanks, Josh.
That she has the children every Wednesday anyway?
Yeah, the last sentence. I imagine you'll have the chance to have them on Wednesday nights during the weeks in May, June, and July?
Yes, that she would imagine to have the chance.
Okay. So what she was asking about seems to already be established in this schedule that was already established in January, 7 months earlier?
Correct.
All right, so where was Wendy Adelson when she sent the message to find out whether Dan Markel would be in town that week?
So that message was sent the morning of the 6th, and the closest cell site or event we have with location, she's communicating with a cell site in South Miami Beach, that would be consistent with the continuum.
And the continuum was the residence of Harvey and Donna Adelson at the time?
That's correct.
And this would be the day after the birthday party?
Yes.
All right, what did Wendy Adelson do after sending that message?
So this is slide 146. There is a calendar entry which created an event for July 7th of 2014, which indicates cancel cable and get Apple ID and Netflix instead.
Okay, obviously this is something a lot of people do, right? Cancel cable and end up getting streaming services?
Yes.
All right, but you can stream from anywhere, right? Is that one of the perks of having streaming over cable?
It would be one of the perks, yes.
Cable is typically, especially back in 2014, was maybe confined to a more fixed spot like a home?
Correct.
And this was on July 7th then. So was Wendy Adelson still living at the Awkward Ridge Drive in Tallahassee at that time?
Yes.
But by the following month, she had relocated to Miami and was no longer in that home.
Oh, that's correct.
All right, moving on to July 11th. What do we see on July 11th?
So on July 11th, again, I'm on slide 148. This is an email from Donna Sue, the Donna Harvey Gmail, to Wendy Adelson regarding a Best Buy service or service for the television.
And what does it say?
It says, if you can't keep Friday, July 18th between 8 a.m. and noon, call to reschedule. It states we took this, the contract we took out is repair in-house if possible. If not possible, they will take it no charge.
And here, Dad is being referred to in the third person. Contract is under Harvey Adelson with Dad's cell phone number?
Yes.
Okay, and it's from Donna Sue at the top?
Correct.
If they need the purchaser, that's my name with my cell phone number, it says. Is that right?
Correct.
And what does Donna Sue say the contract is? Repair in-house if possible. If not possible, they'll take out at no charge. Is that right?
Correct.
All right, did you find any more information about, besides this email from Donna, about this TV repair that was supposed to take place on the morning of July 18th?
Regarding?
The Best Buy repair?
I mean, we know that it occurred, that technicians come to her house that morning.
Okay. And was there also emails between, or messages about the TV being in Harvey Adelson's, as it says here, I guess just consistent with this, some Best Buy documents that were consistent with this about the contract being under Harvey Adelson's name that Donna's then communicating to Wendy?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving on to July 14th. Was this the night before the car rental for the killer's July trip to Tallahassee?
Correct.
All right, were Charlie Adelson and Meg Banois together that night?
They were, yes.
Okay, and how do we know?
We have communication. So then again, this is slide 151, a summary of communications between Ms. Meg Banois, Charlie Adelson, Sigfredo Garcia. We see some voice activity and a text between them, and then we also have text messages recovered from Mr. Adelson's iCloud account. kind of go along with these. So we see that there is a phone call from Mr. Adelson at 8:53 p.m. and then we find the text message chat that says, "Just tried calling you," at 8:56.
And do they appear to meet as far as their phone locations are concerned?
Yes. So this continues on. Ms. Magbanowa basically indicates for Mr. Adelson to come down to her location. She lived south of him in South Florida. He responds or updates with an ETA of 5 men. And then he again updates his location as he's getting closer. We see here on slide 153 at 9:27 p.m. Mr. Adelson has an event with a cell site consistent with Ms. Magbanowa's residence.
And after leaving the area of Magbanowa's residence that night, does Magbanowa contact Garcia?
She does, yes.
Okay, so what do we see here?
So this would be after Mr. Adelson was in the area of her residence. We see events after midnight, 12:42 a.m. and 1 a.m. that would be consistent with him leaving that area and potentially returning to his home.
Okay, and can you tell me about the communication after that?
I can. So what we see July 15th is the rental of the Prius. And to your point, again, and I'll stop here real quick, this is just another summary of the events between our primary subjects. And I'll highlight some of these as we talk about them. So these are events from the early morning hours of after the morning of the rental vehicle. And yes, we see that Ms. Magbanowa makes a number of outgoing calls to Mr. Garcia between 12:48 a.m. and 1:56 a.m.
And who does Garcia call first thing in the morning?
Well, one of his first calls in the morning is to Comfort Rent-A-Car.
And that was the same rental car that he used for the June trip to Tallahassee?
That's correct.
Okay. But also the same one where he had to rent the second car, use the same service again?
That's correct.
All right. Now, did he end up calling another rental car company a little later in the day?
Yes. As we again look at the calls throughout the day, we see that at 4:28 p.m. He makes an outgoing call to Save Gas or Hybrid Rental, another rental car agency.
Okay. And were we able to, now throughout that day, when he's calling Comfort and then calling Hybrid, are he and Luis Rivera in communication?
Yes.
And are he and Magbanowa in communication?
Yes.
All right. Was law enforcement able to find a rental agreement from Safe Gas?
We were. As we look at the rest of the call detail summary, we see here at the bottom, this is slide 160, that there is communication at just after 6 p.m. between Mr. Garcia and Mr. Rivera. And as asked, we were able to locate the rental agreement for Hybrid Rental. And what we see is at 6:15 p.m. is the time out for this vehicle. We see that they rented the Toyota Prius.
Okay, and who rented the Prius?
It's in the name of Luis Rivera.
And whose number is listed at the top under the name Brother?
Mr. Garcia's.
Okay. And were their locations also consistent with Save Gas?
Yes, if we look at both Mr. Garcia and Mr. Rivera's cell site locations, they are consistent with the area of the Save Gas or Hybrid Rental.
All right, right after this car is rented around 6:15, this car that is the car that's going to make this final trip to Tallahassee to kill Dan Markel, are Magbanowa and Charlie Adelson playing phone tag around that time?
Yes.
And did they finally talk on the phone about 15 minutes later at around 6:30?
Yes. So again, we're now looking at a call detail summary. This is slide 163 that shows the communication between them, our subjects, the evening of the 15th. We saw the communication between Mr. Garcia and Mr. Rivera just prior to the rental car pickup. As you mentioned, there is an attempt between Ms. Magbanowa and Charlie Adelson. We see there's a very short duration calls. And then at 6:36 p.m., there is a 10-minute phone call between Charlie Adelson and Catherine Magbanowa.
After that call, the 10-minute call with Magbanowa, who does Charlie Adelson call within, I guess, about an hour or so after this car is running and after he talks to Magbanowa?
So we can see that starting at 7:30, Charlie Adelson calls the Adelson residence, the Donna and Harvey Adelson residence, for a 22-minute phone call, and then again at 7:54 p.m. for an 11-minute phone call.
Okay, so 22 minutes and then 11 minutes. Charlie Adelson calls the landline that night.
Correct.
Do the phone records show us which parent he may have been talking to on the landline at that time?
We know that there is a phone call from Harvey Adelson's cell phone to the residence later on. So he would have not been at the residence later on in the evening. At this time, there's no indication.
And can you walk us through that?
I can. So this is 8:06 p.m. We see the call from Harvey Adelson to the Adelson residence, about a 12-minute phone call.
Okay, and that would have been, is that about the last phone call from Charlie Adelson to the Adelson residence was at 7:54 p.m.?
Correct.
And they talked for 11 minutes?
Correct.
Okay, so at that point, it's going to be about, is that 8:05 when they get off the phone?
Approximately, yes.
Okay, and then who calls the Adelson residence at 8:06?
Harvey Adelson.
Okay, so it was 1 minute later that he called the Adelson residence.
Correct.
So would that be consistent with Charlie Adelson talking to Donna Adelson at the residence, since Harvey Adelson wouldn't be calling himself at the Adelson residence 1 minute later?
It could be, yes.
Earlier we talked about how rare it is that Charlie Adelson calls his parents' landline. He only calls 28 times total in the, I think it was around 15 months in your time span around the time of this murder. So we saw during the June car rental there was one call to the landline, is that right?
Yes.
And for this car rental there's 2 calls right after the landline, is that right?
Correct.
Sorry, 2 calls to the landline right after the car rental, is that right?
Yes.
Thank you. So 3 total of those 28 were right after these cars were rented.
Yes.
Next, where did Garcia go after the car was rented?
Well, you have your 4th call to the residence.
Thank you.
At 8:20 p.m.
Okay.
Again, Charlie Adelson calling the residence for a 10-minute phone call.
All right, so 4 total of the 28 then.
Correct.
Around the time of the car rentals. All right, what do we have next?
So on the 15th, continuing, we see that there is a number of communications. This again is after the time of the rental car. There's a number of communications or attempts between Ms. Magbanowa and Mr. Garcia. Those continue through the evening and they end about 9:30 p.m. This is slide 172. If we look at the locations, slide 173, again, all of those attempts to reach each other ended at 9:30, and we can see that beginning at 9:30, Mr. Garcia's cell site locations will be consistent with the area of Ms. Magbanowa's residence.
Did Garcia and Rivera's phones appear to leave the Miami area then the following day, July 16th of 2014?
Yes. And I'll point out also on this slide, in addition to the cell site locations, we did have GPS location for the rental vehicle, which we can also see here on the map by the blue square icon, that the rental vehicle, in addition to Mr. Garcia's cell sites, but the rental vehicle location would be consistent with Magbanowa's residence as well.
So just like we saw on the June trip, the cell sites that we're getting from the cell records are lining up and are consistent with the Spirion GPS records from these rental cars?
Correct.
Okay. Can you walk us through the travel of the cell phones on July 16th?
Yes, so we see again, slide 175 here, we have cell site locations for this trip for both Mr. Garcia and Mr. Rivera, and we can see that they're consistent with leaving the South Florida area the early afternoon of July 16th. And as we see through both of their cell site usages, as we continue kind of up through this map, we can see they reach the Tallahassee area in the early morning hours of the 17th.
Now, on the 17th, are they ever consistent with being near the Markel residence on Trescott Drive?
Yes, we do see here that both Mr. Garcia and Mr. Rivera have cell site and sector usage that will be consistent with Mr. Markel's residence. And this is on July 17th in the late morning to early afternoon hours.
Okay, and that cell site, is that right near Winthrop Park where we saw them in the last, for the June trip?
That's correct.
Just a second.
You guys asked for the live counter, the live like counter, and I've now put it down in the bottom right hand corner. That's as big as I can make it, unfortunately. It's tiny on my screen too. So we're at 1,206. Thank you very much for everybody who liked the live stream. That really does help the channel. 1,210. It's growing fast. I just can't show the both counters at the same time. I can't show the judge's law and laugh counter as well as the like at the same time. It comes from the same source.
I wanted to ask you one more thing about the June trip. Law enforcement didn't know about this June trip before Luis Rivera informed them there was actually another trip to Tallahassee. Is that right?
That's correct.
Quite.
Saying, please rephrase your question.
Did law enforcement know about the June trip before Luis Rivera's statement?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. And so once we found out about the June trip, were we able to get Rivera's records? And Rivera had records that showed his locations for both June and July.
That's correct.
But Garcia's records had locations for July, but because it had been so long since this trip, they didn't have locations for June anymore. Is that correct?
It wasn't the delay in getting the records, it was the transition of the companies that those records were unfortunately not available to us.
Thank you. Okay, so we just talked about their locations were consistent with being near Markel's home on July 17th. Are you able to show us the communication on the call detail records between all the co-conspirators on the 16th and 17th during this trip to Tallahassee?
Yes. So again, should be slide 179. We are looking at another summary of the communications between the subjects, and this spans July 16th in the morning through the early morning hours of July 18th.
Okay. And do we have the same pattern here where Magban was the only one contacting Garcia and Rivera, and Charlie is the only Adelson talking to Magbanwa?
That's correct. If we go back to kind of the tally of communications, again, we can see the highest number of communications between Charlie Adelson and Catherine Magbanwa, between Magbanwa and Garcia.
That's a cool chart.
And then as the others, excuse me, as the others have communications as well.
Okay. And these communications, they also cover attempted communications, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. And some of these communications may be text, some may be calls, some may be mundane. Some of these people have relationships anyway. We're just showing all the communications that, or attempted communications that did take place.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. So I want to focus on the night before Dan Markel's murder, late that night. Using a timeline, can you walk us through the communication that evening on July 17th, going into the early morning hours of July 18th?
Yes. So again, kind of same format here. We see, this is slide 185, we see calls between Charlie Adelson and Donna Adelson at 10:18 and 10:29, both of them for just over 4 minutes.
Okay, and what's next?
We see at about 11:40, there is communication between Mr. Garcia and Ms. Magbanwa.
Okay, and what happens after that?
Additional communications between Catherine and Sigfredo, and then Charlie calls Catherine just after midnight.
Okay, and is there any more after that?
There is. We see that Ms. Magbanwa calls Charlie again at 12:34 a.m. for a short duration call. And then Charlie calls her back at 1:03 a.m.
Okay. And the Charlie calls Donna at 1:02 a.m. Was there no duration on that?
No duration on that.
Okay.
It's a quick call.
All right, so then moving on to later that morning, which is going to be the morning of July 18th when Dan Markel was murdered. What can you tell us about all the co-conspirators' communication that morning between 8 a.m. and 12:30 p.m.?
So again, another call detail summary between those subjects. Here, slide 192, we're referencing the time when the shooting of Mr. Markel occurred. And in combination with the iCloud return with text message content, in the forensic examination of Wendy Adelson's phone, the communication records from the carriers, we kind of have a more complete idea of the communications between these persons the morning of the 18th.
Okay, and the yellow line there shows out what time in the call detail records the homicide occurred?
Yes.
Can you walk us through all the cell phone evidence that morning?
So again, just looking at the communications between our primary subjects, Wendy had the calendar event that for 8 a.m. for fixed TV.
And I want to ask you about that. Did she often have calendar events in her phone?
She did, yes.
And she would often delete those events?
Correct.
All right. When was this calendar event deleted?
I do not know.
Okay. Was it when she was with law enforcement the afternoon of July 18th? Did they take her phone and run a Cellbrite report on it?
Yes. So this extraction occurred on the late evening hours of July 18th.
Okay. And in the Cellbrite, it would have shown that the calendar event was deleted. Is that right?
Correct.
So would she have had to have deleted it before her cell phone was Cellbrighted that evening?
Yes.
Okay. So sometime between 8 a.m. when the event is on her phone and that evening it was deleted.
It could have been deleted before that date.
Okay. All right. So first call to Donna Adelson and Wendy Adelson. Can you show that to us?
Yes. So again, we see at 8:09 a.m. there's a call from Wendy to Donna.
Okay, let me ask you one thing from the night before. Was it unusual for Charlie Adelson and Donna Adelson to communicate or attempt to communicate at 1 a.m. that late?
They're communicate over a pretty broad range of time. I think it was pretty clear that that event was a misdial that he immediately corrected and called Ms. Magbanowa, and that's why there was no duration to it.
Okay, thank you. All right, so moving on to that morning, we saw the calendar event, and then does Donna place the first call that morning between the co-conspirators to Wendy?
Wendy calls Donna, let's back up. So yes, Wendy actually calls Donna at 8:09.
Okay. And what's next?
Donna attempts back at about the same time frame. Little phone tag maybe. And then we see a text message from Donna to Wendy again about the Best Buy service.
And she says, they're on their way over now to help with the TV sets in your living room.
Correct.
All right, what's next?
Wendy has a text to Charlie stating, "This is so sweet."
And that was deleted?
Correct.
And would that have had to have been deleted then before the Cellbrite that afternoon, sometime between when it was received at 8:20 and the Cellbrite that afternoon?
Correct.
All right, what's next?
Wendy receives a voicemail from Dan Markel.
Okay, and do you have that voicemail where you could play it for us?
I believe so.
Hey ladies, good morning. It's 9 o'clock on Friday. Just wanted to take down something to pick the boys up early this afternoon and give them to me. And then have them ready for you around 4:30 or 5. You can get them up. Either at your cell or at the house. So let me know if that is okay with you. And also I'd love to chat with you about that situation for school. and Thursday stuff and all that. I'm gonna be at the gym probably between 9:15 and 10:30, but happy to chat. For a walk in school, something like that. Okay, bye.
What time was that voicemail left for Wendy Adelson?
9:04 a.m.
Okay, what happens after that?
So Charlie calls Wendy, or attempts to call Wendy at 9:12.
And that's 29 seconds?
Correct.
Okay, what's next?
Wendy texts Dan Markel, stating the repairman at my house now. I am picking up the boys at 3 p.m., so your swim idea is a no-go today.
So do we know exactly what time she listened to that? Was it 9:04?
9:04 was the voicemail.
Do we know exactly what time she listened to that 9:04 voicemail?
We do not.
But it seems she would have listened to it before this text at 9:12.
She does seem to acknowledge the content of the voicemail in this text message reply.
So she heard it sometime between 9:04 and 9:12.
Correct.
Okay.
I'm going to show you the voicemail
Now,
again so you can take a screenshot if you need one. Hang on one second.
In that message, he mentions he's going to the gym, right? At 9:15. But
here it is.
From the surveillance videos that we have, by the time he got to the gym at 9:15, were the killers already tailing him?
Appear to be so, yes.
Okay. And are you familiar with Luis Rivera's statement that they had been tailing him all morning? They followed him from his house to the preschool that morning.
Correct.
All right, so can you walk us through these messages starting at 9:12 a.m. that Wendy Adelson has with Dan Markel?
Yes. So, again, she indicated that the swim idea was a no-go. Mr. Markel responds about his day ending at 4:30.
Meaning that he gets to keep the boys under the schedule until 4:30.
Correct.
Okay.
As again, in this message, he says, under our schedule. And he continues, and you had them until 5 last week. This is at 9:13 a.m.
Okay.
Wendy Adelson responds, because you needed to food shop. This is at 9:15. Mr. Markel replies, you weren't making them available until 5.
And at this point, he's already in the Premier parking lot around that time.
Would be correct, yes.
Okay.
Wendy responds, if it was 4:30 last Friday, you should have told me that. Why tell me now? This is at 9:19. And also at 9:19, Wendy receives a call from Charlie, lasts a little over 18 minutes.
Okay. So at the point where Dan Markel's already at the gym at 9:19, right?
Yes.
And the killers have already followed him to the gym at that point, right?
Correct.
And this is per surveillance footage from Premier.
Correct.
At this point, Wendy and Charlie have an 18 and 17 second phone conversation.
An 18-minute and 17-second, yes.
Okay. What happens next after this phone conversation?
So after the phone call started, Wendy would have received the incoming text because I was being nice. And then about the time that phone call would have ended, Wendy texts Dan back.
And does she say, nice was fun while it lasted. See you at 4:30 today at my house then?
Correct.
So after this 18-minute phone call with Charlie Adelson, does she seemingly change her stance in the argument? She kind of concedes the argument and agrees with what Dan Markel is asking. He can keep the boys until 4:30.
Correct.
And then within about an hour of this message was Dan Markel killed.
He was shot, yes.
Shot, thank you. Walk us through what happens next.
So there are additional communications. Charlie attempts to call Donna at 9:38. Charlie attempts to call Catherine at 9:57. Return attempt just after. And then Charlie and Catherine talk for almost 7 minutes at 9:58.
Okay.
Charlie calls Wendy 10:06, short duration. Catherine attempts Charlie again, 10:07, 10:08. The return call at 10:09 for about 6 minutes. And that's the last of the communications prior to the shooting.
Okay, is Charlie also that morning playing phone tag with the attorney representing him in the divorce, Stephen Webster?
Dan Markel is.
I'm sorry, Dan Markel, thank you. And did Dan Markel have communication where he's playing phone tag with Stephen Webster?
Yes, this is slide 220, and we see from Mr. Markel's records several incoming, outgoing text or voice attempts with Stephen Webster.
And are they basically setting up a time to talk later in the morning?
Your Honor, facts not evidence, calls for speculation.
Staying as the facts, not evidence, unless you can lay a foundation for this was Dugan.
Have you reviewed the text in these call detail records?
Briefly.
Did it appear that they were setting up a time to talk later that day?
Yes.
Okay. Is the last outgoing communication from Dan Markel 10:34 a.m.?
Yes.
And Dan Markel would have been killed within a few minutes of sending that outgoing message?
Correct.
All right,
Judge
I
is
want to
cracking
shift now
knuckles.
to the cell phone locations in this case. You walked us through, at the beginning of your presentation yesterday, Dan Markel's locations on the morning of the murder. Trescott, preschool, gym. What can you tell us about Rivera and Garcia's locations that morning?
So again, as you mentioned, slide 222 here, we see the locations that he was. We know his approximate arrival, the arrival of the Prius into Premier Health and Fitness just after 9 a.m. And what we see now up to slide 224, these are the cell site locations for Mr. Garcia and Mr. Rivera. Again, Mr. Garcia is in orange, Rivera in blue, but these are the first events with location. We have the morning of the 18th, July 18th, and we see that Mr. Rivera and Mr. Garcia's location are both consistent with them being in the area of Premier Health and Fitness.
Okay, and what was the last event with location data that we have for them while consistent with Premier Gym?
It's going to be these that you see here. So 9:58 for Mr. Garcia, 9:46 for Mr. Rivera.
When was their next event with location after these events?
It was afternoon.
Okay, can you walk us through that?
I can. We see, again, Mr. Markel's vehicle leaving the Premier Health and Fitness, 10:38. The Prius traveling just after. And then we see the location information here. This is slide 227. And again, just looking at the cell site locations, Mr. Garcia's in orange, Rivera's in blue. We see that those events we just saw at Premier Health and Fitness are at the top. And the next event we have, you see, is the 12:30 event for Mr. Garcia, where they appear to be on 75 traveling southbound.
So from Tallahassee to around the Gainesville area, there were no events with location.
Correct.
Could that be consistent with them turning their phones off after they left Premier Gym?
It could, yes.
Sometimes when people commit crimes, do they try to turn their phones off during that time?
Objection, Your Honor. Calls for speculation.
Sustained unless you can lay a foundation for this particular point, Mr. Dugan.
I'll move on, Judge. All right, so let's start at 12:30. Who was the call to 12:32?
So this is a summary of Mr. Garcia's records for the morning of the 18th. And what we see is his first outgoing call, which happens to be that same event we have with location at 12:30, was to Miss Magbanowa.
Even though the call appears to be a short duration, is there any evidence that it went to voicemail or Magbanowa did not answer the call?
There's no evidence it was not received.
What do the phone records indicate about the status of Garcia's phone from the last event at Premier to the time he called Catherine Magbanowa at 12:30?
Well, we do see at 12:18 and 12:19, we see 2 incoming calls that do not create locations, which means they did not actually reach the handset. The handset was not in communication with the network. So we know, at least for those times, that the handset was not, again, in communication with the network. Power down, battery dead. However, and then we also see these short codes, this 122 and 129, that are coming into the phone at 12:29. And these are consistent with notifications to the handset about missed calls or voicemails or other things. So those events would be consistent with that phone being powered back on or returning to the network at about that 12:29 time frame.
Okay.
Leonie,
And once
thank you
it
so
comes
much.
back on at
11 months.
12:29, the first call is to Magbanua.
Correct.
Switching gears here, I want to talk about Wendy Adelson's locations during that morning and early afternoon time frame when Dan Markel was murdered. Are you familiar with Wendy Adelson's statement about her locations on the day of Dan Markel's murder and the route that she took on July 18th after her TV repair appointment?
Yes.
Okay, can you walk us through that?
So again, we see her residence here at the time, the Aqua Ridge Way. This is slide 230. Again, just the flag there indicates the area of her residence.
So is Aqua Ridge kind of off Centerville Road, north of I-10?
Yes.
All right. Based on the location info from her call detail records, can you determine the approximate time she encountered the roadblock on Trescott Drive?
I can, yes.
Okay.
So we also have a receipt from ABC Fine Wine and Spirits that is time-stamped at 12:49 p.m. on the 18th. So looking at communication records with location, we see that she begins a voice call at 12:31 p.m. Her cell site is listed as the purple dot and starts at 12:31. We can see, this is slide 232. As we come down to about the middle here, she has an event at 12, or communication during this phone call with a cell site at 12:35, and then that call ends at 12:47. So we see again that will be consistent with her leaving the area of her residence sometime around the 12:31 time frame, and being in the area of, and this 12:47 cell site could be the ABC Liquors as well. We know the receipt time's just a couple of minutes later. So with that, and to slide 233, with that receipt being at 12:49, the voice call ending at 12:47, she would have passed by Mr. Markel's residence just prior to that.
Okay, meaning maybe somewhere around 12:35 to 12:45.
Correct.
Did Dan Markel have he and Wendy Adelson's children the morning of July 18th?
I'm sorry?
Did Dan Markel have the children the morning of July 18th and he took them to school that morning?
He did, yes.
Okay. Looking at Wendy Adelson's call detail records, were you able to see her calls, who they were from and to, and the times on July 18th of 2014?
Yes. So slide 234, a summary of her calls that morning. And we can see in the highlighted sections here calls that would have been made or received after the time that she would have passed by the Markel residence.
When she encountered that roadblock, the crime scene tape with the police cars behind it in front of the Markel residence, did she attempt to call Dan Markel to make sure he or the kids were okay?
She did not.
Did she attempt to call the children's daycare, creative preschool, to make sure that they made it to school and there wasn't some type of incident?
She did not.
Did she attempt to call 911 or law enforcement to see what was going on, since her children had been staying on that street?
She did not.
Did she just continue to the liquor store and then on to lunch?
Correct.
Are you familiar with the area of
Kelly,
Thomasville
thank you so
Road
much.
and
Welcome.
I-10, where the restaurant Mosaic used to be, which was the restaurant she went to lunch at that day?
I am.
Were there any liquor stores in that area back in July 2014?
There were, yes.
Okay, can you walk, thank you.
So what we see, slide 237, again, we are showing the residence, her residence at the time on Aqua Ridge, and her ultimate destination, which was Mosaic off of Thomasville Road. So clearly the next slide here shows, as calculated by the mapping software, the most direct route between those two locations as far as where she was heading.
And then were there any liquor stores in the area of Mosaic at that time?
There were. So at that time, there was Publix Liquors on Thomasville Road there, very close to Mosaic. There was Market Square Liquors off Thomasville, and also another ABC location a little further north on Thomasville Road.
Would those Publix and Market Square Liquors be a lot closer to Aqua Ridge and Mosaic than the one she ultimately went to?
They would, and this is slide 242, which shows the route she ended up taking versus what is calculated as the most efficient route. We can see there's a difference of about 9 minutes longer to go the other way.
So she went 9 minutes out of the way to go to the ABC Liquors next to Dan Markel's home.
Correct.
All right, switching gears again. July 18th, the last slide that we saw of Garcia and Rivera's locations was around the Gainesville area when the phones were powered back on and the 12:30 call was made by Garcia to Catherine Magbanua. Does the next map show Garcia and Rivera continuing to come back down to the Miami area?
Yes, we do see here slide 244 as another large time frame without location information, but we see in the late afternoon, early evening hours, the use on the phones returns, and we see that they are getting into the South Florida area.
Okay, once back in Miami, did they stop somewhere where they were caught on video?
Yes, so we have an ATM withdrawal from Mr. Rivera. We can see that that occurred at 6:46 p.m. and through the records, we were able to determine the location of that specific ATM where that transaction occurred in Pembroke Pine.
Okay.
So slide 247 shows the location of the ATM by the yellow flag in the middle. The, again, blue and orange circles represent the cell sites their handsets were using at the time, and we can see that their locations are consistent with the area of that ATM around the time of that transaction.
All right. Moving on to July 18th. Okay, thank you.
So from that ATM, there were also surveillance images obtained of Mr. Rivera driving, Mr. Garcia in the passenger seat, and again of the green Prius.
And then after that, was Garcia in communication with Catherine Magbanua that evening?
Yes.
Was Magbanua also in communication with her friend Yendra Mascaro that evening?
Yes. So here again, slide 250 is the summary of the communications at that afternoon and evening. And we can highlight here several communications between Ms. Magbanua and Mr. Garcia. And in addition to those, we do see communications between Ms. Magbanua and Ms. Mascaro.
Helen
and
Lewis,
was there
thank you so
evidence
much.
that Magbanua went to Rivera's house to meet up with Garcia on the night of July 18th?
There was. As we see again, Ms. Magbanua's cell sites represented here in red. She has events up to 8:46 that are consistent with the area of her residence. And we can see as we move across the slide here, 253, events at 9:20 and 9:23, and ultimately 9:42, that will be consistent with her traveling away from the area of her residence and toward the area of Mr. Rivera's residence.
And are you familiar with Magbanua's statement that she dropped her kids off at Yendra Mascaro's residence for the night that night, on the night of July 18th?
Yes.
And whose residence is on the way to Rivera's?
Ms. Mascaro's.
And is Magbanua then at Rivera's residence by around 9:42 p.m.?
I'm sorry, you have a question.
Your Honor, there's a question from the jury.
You use the bathroom.
Thank
The
you.
bailiff will take you to the restroom.
That might be an unfortunate event. I don't want to point this out, but there was a sneeze and then an immediate, we need a break. Did you guys hear that? When you gotta go. When you gotta go, you gotta go.
Believed to accommodate the issue that we discussed previously at sidebar about scheduling. We'll need to stop this morning at 11:30, but once the jurors come back out, we'll at least get another hour of the testimony in. If the defendant needs to use the restroom, bailiffs, please take her at this time.
It's fun to see the defense and the prosecution just talking to each other during the breaks. They don't hate each other, right? They're arguing complete, one side and the other. They're opposite. They want opposite outcomes, but they are cordial with each other and even somewhat friendly. Yeah, it was nice of the witness to be, jury has a question. The judge was looking down, not seeing it. As far as the testimony so far today, man, it's a bit, it's tiny pieces of a puzzle. I really feel like I get the feel, first of all, I get the feel we're nearing the end of the state's case, right? That they're trying to wrap this up. And as you look at the puzzle, there are still some gaping holes. But the state is hoping that if they fill in enough of the details about what happened with Wendy, what happened with Charlie, what happened with Katie, what happened with Siegfried, if they can fill in enough of these details with where Harvey fits, then we can mentally, or the jury can mentally draw the connections with Donna and say, yep, that's beyond reasonable doubt. The bump is going to be the strongest evidence, I think. Well, the bump and her trying to leave the country, the strongest evidence they have against her. But before they play that evidence, they need to paint the whole picture. So you see the entire landscape of everyone that she was involved with at the time, and what their roles were in association with the timeline of things happening. And that's when the TV, what is the significance of mom getting you the TV and arranging for the fix and wanting to know the times. Now it's important because we know what time the hit happened and what's the significance of the phone calls late at night and back and forth between different people. Now we know because of these other events. So there will be, the jurors are not going to be able to look at these pieces and say, yeah, this is a hard evidence case. This will be circumstantial in many ways. But hey, what's happening? The noise went away briefly. Do you hear that? Prosecution has their game on this morning. They do. They're doing really well. Big thanks to the 1,452 of you who have clicked the like button, by the way. Someone asked to see the like button, and I figured I'd put that in the corner instead of the judge counter, which we have to move up one more, which I can't do while I'm showing the like button. So just 1 second. Let me turn that one off. And let's see. Tally counter is going to be up to 35. There we go. So it's accurate now, but we'll keep the like button on the screen if we can. There we go. The bump, the wiretaps, the jail script, the attempted escape to Vietnam. Yeah, I haven't heard the phone calls yet. The wiretap, those will be good. I'm not familiar with the contents of those, but we have so much more to go through. I would say I appreciate all y'all's prayers and support for Ivan's mom. Just know that she is in the hospital in a very, very serious condition. Haven't heard from Ivan since about 2:00 this morning, but not good. So continue to have her in your prayers, and him as well. That would be great. Are we ending early today? No, it sounds like we've got an early lunch break, but probably still going to 5:30. I didn't hear that we were ending early. Did he say ending early? I think 11:30 was what he was talking about as far as the lunchtime. They need an early break for some reason that way. So I guess ending the first segment early, but not necessarily the second. Look at that. Over 1,500 likes. Thank you so much. Let's see. Somebody's vacuuming. I think it's one of my kids. I haven't heard that yet. What have I not heard? Thought the witness had to be done by 11:30. Okay, that makes more sense. If this witness has to go by that time. But they only had a couple hours with him. They said 3 or 4 hours with this witness, and we had 1.5, maybe 2-ish yesterday. We've started at 9:30. We're up to another 1.5. We're at 3 right now. So 4 puts us right at 11:30. Just depends how much cross-examination there is. Maybe your neighbor is vacuuming. No, but my good friend across the street who mows my lawn came over, knocked on our door, said, I was going to mow your lawn. And we're like, oh, thank you. You don't need to do that. This is Miss R.A. passing this on. Said, it's already been mowed. We're good. And he's like, well, who mowed it? She says, well, you did, and another friend and the kids sometimes do. And he's like, oh, yeah, I remember. I saw her mowing the lawn, the other neighbor. And she's like, yeah, thanks. And she's like, well, yeah, we appreciate it, but we don't need you to mow the lawn. And he's like, oh, it needs it. He's like, no, really, it's short. It's really short. And we like the blades of grass, not just the roots. And he says, oh, it needs it, because if you wait any longer, you're going to have to rake up the grass clippings. You've got to keep it short, or else there's stuff to rake up. And and he says, plus, I like to make your lawn look like my lawn. He has a different breed of grass. He literally has like golf green turf, like the putting green, the grass that's designed to only grow like this tall and then be done. We've got like, I don't know, Bermuda grass or something, which looks terrible short, but he mows ours right down to the bottom. We're like, all right, go ahead and mow. It's all right. It's just grass. It will grow back, and it does make him happy. So I appreciate my neighbors cutting my lawn. I have very small things to complain about, and that being one of them is I'm blessed in life. JPC gifted 5 memberships as well. Thank you. Where is Mrs. R.A.? I think she's getting ready. This is our last week before homeschool starts. Homeschool starts for the younger 2. It's already started for the third youngest, because he's in a college level course, even though he'd only be like in 9th grade right now, a freshman, I think. So anyway, so she's doing that. Do you think the questions are leading to Wendy being charged too? Yes, I think they're on purpose. The design of these questions and all the evidence is almost amounts to a bump. It's like we're trying to push you. I think the defense would like, or the prosecution would like nothing more than Wendy being like, okay, Delta, Vietnam one-way search. They would love it. I think they're honestly, they're prodding. They're saying, we would love just a tiny bit more. They probably are keeping her free for that reason. That's just my thought process. It's nearly a bump. Okay, Something just needs to be unplugged. Bingo. Now you can hear me again, but not very good. Test 1, 2. No. Apparently that's not what needed to be on. Test 1, 2. Can you hear me? Check, check. Test. It's very quiet. Okay, it's just on 2. Don't know why. That wasn't it. Yeah, I'm getting a buzz. Let me see if I can come in on 4. That's the same. 4 is the same. Test. You guys hear that buzz? That's the pitch. Name that pitch. All right. It's not YouTube. It's in my. It goes away. It's intermittent. That's crazy. All right. Hope the juror that needed the bathroom is okay. Me too. Now it's gone. Maybe it's telling me I need to upgrade my soundboard. We only hear the cicadas. Oh, last night I went for a bike ride around town on my e-bike, which is basically like I went for a ride. My e-bike pulled me around town, and I like going on all the back streets because this town is old. It's got like mid 1800s ish. Okay, it was where the roots of this town are, and so there's some really old buildings. I went and actually went a ride through the cemetery, the old cemetery. And just checked out some of the headstones, and we've got some massive memorial structures out there. Went out through there, and the cemetery is the most overgrown thing you've ever seen, because it's impossible to mow. The headstones are so crammed together that you have to basically use a weed eater on the entire, I don't know what it is, 25, 50 acres. It's huge. I don't know how big it is, probably 2 or 3 acres. But I just rode around as they have these little gravel paths around through there. I rode around through there just respectfully, quietly on my bike, not like jumping over headstones or anything. It was very, very polite. And I forgot why I'm telling you this, but I went on a ride. Oh, the cicadas. There was one part of town where I pulled up, and I was testing my horn on my bike. I was just going beep, beep, just to see if it was working, and testing the lights and everything, the buttons. And the horn on the bike triggered the cicadas, and they all just the trees just like start screaming at each other. It just gets so loud. And then the cicadas like yell at each other. So it's like, it's deafening for a little while. Looking for excuses to buy more equipment. I already have an excuse to buy more equipment. And by equipment, we're talking, oops, right here. There we go. We're talking about this one that I'm blocking right here. This right down here. This guy. Move that out of the way. Whoops. Not like that. Okay. This right here. This has been my original soundboard. I've got one, and Weatherwatch has one. But the new version of this is almost the same. It actually has a few more lights, like up around here, around these knobs and things, and a couple more buttons, and one less volume switch. But it has another feature that is absolutely amazing, that enables me to patch in for podcast purposes for pristine audio. Somebody else remotely from anywhere in the world using this, as long as they use the same device, and I can just connect as if they're right here. As if they're using one of my mics here. So it's really cool. So thinking about it, but did Dan's home have cameras? I don't think it did. I haven't seen anything from cameras there. The only camera we got was the still images that were taken from the neighbors' houses. They was watching the car pull in and leave. Town I used to live in still has brick road alleys. We've got some really narrow streets in a couple places, but really cool. Nothing spicy or fun. Little bits here and there. Little bits of emails. Little bits of coincidences as to times and who called who when and who did they call right after and what time did you call somebody and how did these bits of things line up. So they're little pieces. I wouldn't say we've had like the mic drop moment this morning, but it's all adding up, and the pieces are starting to come together. Do you guys know who's the next witness? Lou, there's a chance that we get Charlie. There's a chance if they're going to call him, that's a possibility. This witness should be off the stand probably in the next hour at the most. I need more spice, says Tanisha. Bring the spice. This seems like the retrial of the other already convicted, not Donna. Talking about Katie. Katie testified yesterday, Laura, and that was pretty. It was sobering, I think, is the word that comes to mind. To see her testifying for free, meaning there was no deal, she was getting nothing out of it, telling on everybody. When we know that she was offered a deal that would have given her probation, literally, she would have walked free and not been, and not spent another day in jail. She would have had probation if she cooperated earlier. And she said no because the death penalty was on the table for her boyfriend or husband. I'm not sure what the relationship was. She said no twice to that, and instead lied under oath and testified differently, falsely. And now she is serving life without parole as the jury in her trial convicted her on the second try. The first trial was a mistrial. I think Mrs. R.A. just saw a bug in our house. Yeah, it's a bug. She just saw a bug. Did you hear that? They're getting the Southern Febreze right now. Trina, AV Equipment Upgrade Fund contribution. Trina, thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate that. Are you all right? It crawled on you? I would have screamed too.
I'm sorry.
There was one earlier when I was I think it was right after we were fixing the ceiling. There was I think it was downstairs in our front room, way up high on the wall. Like up on our walls are like 11-foot ceilings. We have like I think they call it like a picture rail where you like hang pictures from, like way up high. I don't know. We don't use it for that, so that's what it is. But it's basically like a balcony for bugs to spy on us from the top of our rooms. And the bug was flying there, and so I got the Southern Febreze. And there's one can that seems to spray more in a stream, and one that sprays more in like a mist. And I got the stream one, and I'm like, don't want to spray it because it's going to fly at my eyes. You spray it, and it will aim for your eyes, and it will fly at you off the wall. And I don't think Mrs. Ari believed me, but it needed to be sprayed, and I had to do the thing, and I sprayed it, and it flew, and it went just like right at my face, and I like dodged, and then it almost hit her.
You can be seated.
It's dead.
Are they good to go?
Are you ready when you're ready?
Yes.
Okay.
The ISO stop is actually recording. If I show you right here, I can turn it to record. Well, actually I can't because I don't have a drive plugged in. ISO record, it's isolation. So that's just the recording monitor. I can record on my switcher. I can also record on my hyperdeck. I'm recording on the hyperdeck right now. That's why this light is red. If I had stopped it, it would go off to green and then just for reading. So red is record. If I was to record on this, it would record all the pictures you see, all 8 channels. individually on different files so I can edit it in post, but I don't do that. I can also change the settings so it says record stop REC, so it just records the
You might.
What? Sloth Life? Did I miss you? There it is, Sloth Life gifted membership. I'm sorry, I missed that one. We've had a lot of generous gifters today. Sloth Life, I apologize, missing your comments. JPC gifted 5, Sloth Life gifted 1, Helen Lewis gifted 5, Kelly, welcome to the gallery. Trina, thank you for the super chat for the equipment fund. Leonie H, welcome to the gallery, 11 months. JPC, you comes with a big super chat, thank you very much. You could do a poll on if you think Wendy will run. I don't think she will, Jade. I think she's smarter than that. Auntie Ree, she saw what happened to her mom. Auntie Ree, welcome to the gallery. Hanging with Yins gifted a membership. Sorry, I missed that one as well. Vic Stefani, member for 19 months. I think that just about OG status. Josh Hutchins gifted 5 memberships. We did hit that 1,000 mark pretty quickly. Thanks for the challenge there, Josh. Kelly H, let's get the thumbs up. Thank you for your help on helping people find the like button. That really does help the channel. Shanghai Cherie, faithful follower since Murdoch. That makes you an OG. Thank you. Ilona, welcome. Jennifer Juniper, welcome to the gallery. Selena K gifted a membership. Kelly, member for 10 months. Red Pen gifted 5. DSN gifted 5. Selena K with the super chat. Kelly to kick things off. And one more, we have Tumwater Troy adds to the AV fund. Thank you, Troy. Appreciate it. Whew. Jury's here.
Everyone can be seated.
Pops
Student, you may
again.
continue with the examination of Sergeant Corbett.
Okay, so the night of July 18th was Catherine Magbanwa's cell phone consistent with Rivera's residence by around 9:42 p.m.?
Yes, just after that. We see from the call summary, the last communication between Ms. Magbanwa and Mr. Garcia was at 9:46 p.m. And what we see as her events at 9:46 and 9:47 are very consistent with Mr. Rivera's residence. So that kind of coincides with the end of their back and forth communication with her location becoming consistent with Rivera's residence, where Mr. Garcia's location was also consistent.
Okay, and could that be consistent with her communicating with Garcia? That communication ends once she arrives at Rivera's residence, where Garcia and Rivera are also there.
Correct.
Now, after being there for a little while, does Catherine Magbanwa communicate with Charlie Adelson?
She does, and again, back to the summary, we see that there is an outgoing call from Mr. Adelson at 10:12, very, very short duration, and then Ms. Magbanwa calls Mr. Adelson back at 10:20 for about a 2-minute phone call.
And tell us about Catherine Magbanwa's location for that 10:20 call to Charlie Adelson.
So what we see, the 10:20 and 10:22, is the last times that her location is consistent with the area around Mr. Rivera's residence.
Were we able to find any other evidence of her and Charlie Adelson's plans for the night of July 18th?
Yes, and again, that was slide 257 we just spoke of. This is communication from Mr. Adelson's iCloud, and the afternoon and evening of July 18th, where she asked, how's work been, hon? He says, been busy. And then later, about to start a big case, which she acknowledges.
Okay, and did they discuss their plans for that night?
They did. 8:22 p.m. She texts, you're still at work. Mr. Adelson, Charlie Adelson responds, just finishing. I'm not really feeling good. Maybe we can just hang at my house.
And that message from him is at 8:23 p.m. to Catherine McBanois?
That's correct.
Okay, and he says he's not feeling good before she comes to his house.
Correct.
All right. Are you familiar with a call that Wendy Adelson made while at TPD in front of TPD investigators to inform Donna Adelson of Dan Markel's shooting?
Yes.
And was that call made by Wendy Adelson to Donna Adelson at 7:04 p.m.?
Yes, there were actually two close together there.
Okay, thank you. Which co-conspirator did Donna Adelson call after that?
So looking at Donna Adelson's locations and communication, there is a text message from Donna to Charlie, a chat that says, "Call us ASAP."
Okay, and what about after that?
So what we see is looking at the combined location information from both Donna Adelson and Harvey Adelson's cell phones, their locations. We see that they are consistent with leaving the South Miami, South Beach area around or a little before 8 p.m. and beginning to travel north. We see locations here on this slide through about 8:29 p.m. And if we continue, we see events at 8:35 p.m. again in the North Miami area, and then we don't have any other usable events with location until 10:53, at which point they're in the north area down here.
Okay. Can you go back to just the slide right before this? Okay, so she receives a call from Wendy Adelson around 7:04 p.m. She's in touch with Charlie Adelson by she's attempting to get in contact with him by around 7:12, and within an hour, they are leaving South Beach and headed north in Miami.
Correct.
They being Donna Adelson.
And Harvey Adelson,
And Harvey
yes.
Adelson. Thank you. All right, so can we go to your next slide? You said that their last cell phone communication with location data was in North Miami at 8:35 p.m. and their next event with location after that was at 10:53 p.m. Are you familiar with Catherine McBanois' statement that Charlie Adelson told her that his parents had just been at her home the night of Dan Markel's murder before she arrived at the home?
Her home or his home?
I'm sorry, his home, Charlie Adelson's home.
Yes.
Charlie Adelson's parents had just been at Charlie Adelson's home before McBanois arrived that night.
Correct.
Okay. Is Charlie's home located between the location we see there for the cell site at 8:35 and the location for the cell site at 10:53?
Yes, we see here the location referenced by the flag of where Mr. Adelson's residence was at the time.
Is there evidence in the phone records that Donna Adelson went to Charlie Adelson's home on the night of Dan Markel's murder?
So there is another communication from Miss Donna Adelson at 8:59 p.m. stating outside your house.
Outside your house, and she's sending that message to Charlie Adelson, is that right?
Correct.
What can you tell us about her locations that night and how long she could have spent at Charlie's residence after sending this message?
Your Honor, I'm going to object. Calls for speculation.
Overruled. He may answer based on his analysis of the records. However, Sergeant, you are not to speculate or offer any opinions beyond anything that you have not directly researched through these matters. You may answer the question.
Yes, sir. So the question asked of me is it possible for, given the cell site locations and times, is it possible there was a period of time where Donna and Harvey could have stopped at Charlie Adelson's residence? So to do this analysis, I looked at the events that we had with usable locations, and we see that there is this 6-minute phone call, and this is the 8:35 location we saw in the previous slide. But we see this phone call actually begins on the cell site in the bottom of this slide, which should be 263, and it ends on the cell site at the top. So to conduct an analysis of potential time between points, we need to establish a point to start measuring from. So my estimation of the approximate handset's location between these two cell sites for this phone call is approximately the area of that 832 little call out here in the middle. So that is the point that I started, again, based on these two phone calls, or the beginning and ending cell sites, estimated that the handset was approximately in the area of that marker at 832. Same thing for the ending phone call, or the next phone call that we had at 10:53. We see the cell site that it begins on and the cell site that it ends on a little further north. And so that will be consistent again with the handset continuing to travel along the area of the turnpike. And for our ending time here, I again estimated the location of the handset to be where that white call out box is at approximately 10:53 p.m. So with those 2 points and using the Esri route planning tool, Esri is the mapping software that we use, it tells us that that travel should have taken approximately about an hour and 4 minutes. And what we see is between 8:32 and 10:53 is actually 2 hours and 21 minutes. So the distance traveled is not consistent with the time consumed.
You spoke about Esri. Is that
Should I
also
stop somewhere?
How Department of Transportation estimates mileage as well?
Yes, if you go to the official Department of Transportation site to get mileage for business travel, they use the same software.
What can you determine about when Donna Adelson would have reached Charlie Adelson's residence according to this estimated travel time?
So if we look at this, and again, we see the area of Charlie Adelson's residence, we have the message at 8:59 that says outside your house. Charlie responds to that about 20 minutes later with 10 men, 10 minutes. So again, using the same route planning, we see that that should have taken approximately 25 minutes to travel from our 8:32 starting point to Charlie Adelson's residence. And so that would have put the estimated time of arrival at his residence 8:57, and the text message is sent at 8:59. So that would be pretty consistent.
So the text message time is consistent with the estimated time it would take to get from the last known location to his house?
Correct.
And in that text message, she says, outside your house to him.
Correct.
And then he gives her an estimated amount of time before he'll be at his house, 10 men.
Correct. And what we see looking at Charlie Adelson's locations, the 9:19, when the text message is sent, we can see the cell site that his handset is using. As we continue down slide 268, we can see that he has communication at 9:21, and then the next cell site he has is, or cell site time he has is 9:40, and that 9:40 time he has become consistent with the area of his residence. So he reaches his residence sometime between 9:21 and 9:40. If we look at the 9:19 time of the text message, that 10 minutes is about correct for when he would arrive home.
So he says he's 10 minutes when he's about 10 minutes away en route to his house.
Correct.
After receiving the outside your house text. Is that right?
Correct.
And what do we see here?
This is just a close-up of that, again showing the cell sites when he would be consistent with his residence, arriving sometime before 9:40.
And where was Donna Adelson's next event with actual location data after she said she was outside Charlie Adelson's house and he responded 10 men?
Again, the next event that we have is the 10:53 events, looking at their combined records. Is the next usable location event that we have. So if we look at the time that it would take to travel from Charlie Adelson's residence to that point, we see that based on the route planning, approximately 48 minutes. And again, the actual travel time based on those cell site usages was 1 hour and 54 minutes. So we have about an hour of unaccounted for time.
So it took her 1 hour and 54 minutes to travel to the 1053 location from North Miami, which left 1 hour and 6 minutes unaccounted for.
This would be the travel time from Charlie Adelson's residence
Thank
to
you.
that 1053 point. Did take 1 hour and 54 minutes, which was estimated to only take 48.
So how long could she and Charlie Adelson then have overlapped at his house during that time?
The maximum would be approximately 1 hour and 6 minutes.
And that would be including the time that she would have been waiting for him to arrive?
It would, yes.
Okay. So let's say she waited 10 minutes or so for him to arrive. Actually, he sent it 20 minutes after arriving after he received the text, right?
Correct. Charlie's response to Donna was about 20 minutes after she had texted outside your residence. And that indicates a 10-minute estimated time of arrival. So about 30 minutes would be probably the shortest that she would have waited, but you still have a little over a half hour of overlap.
Okay, thank you. So total amount of time, 1 hour, 6 minutes, and they could have spent about 30 minutes or so together during that time at his residence.
Could have, yes.
What else do you know about Donna Adelson's travels that evening?
So we have an additional chat later on.
Does he check back in with her to see if she got there okay?
Yes. At 11:56, Charlie texts, "Did you get to your hotel okay? Love you." She responds, "Thank you for asking. We have it on MapQuest. Hilton Inn on International Drive. We should arrive at 1:25 a.m. Get some rest. We'll talk in the morning." So again, looking at the point of the 1053 estimated location to the location she states she's going to, we see that should have taken about 2 hours and 20 minutes, and which would have made the arrival time around 1:13. Her stated arrival, estimated arrival was 1:25. So again, these are pretty close.
So no large amount of time unaccounted for during that journey.
That's correct.
The large amount of time that you have unaccounted for where she says she's outside Charlie Adelson's house is from the 8:35 spot to the 10:53 spot.
Correct.
Okay.
Hush! I'm trying to have court. Don't raise your voice again.
Did you have an opportunity to do this drive that Donna Adelson took from North Miami to the 1053 location on the night of July 18th?
I did, yes.
And when did you do that drive?
I did that July 18th of this year.
And was that on a Friday night this year, just as her drive was on a Friday night in 2014?
Yes.
And on the same date, July 18th?
Correct.
Can you tell us about that drive?
I simply traveled to that area, to the area of that first estimated location at 8:32. I started an exit south of that so that I was at traveling speed, and I traveled to Charlie Adelson's residence. I noted the time and mileage that it took me to get there, and then I traveled from Charlie Adelson's residence to the 1053 spot, just to make sure that the roadways, all of those which have not changed, allowed for me to get off the turnpike, get back on, continue travel, and about how long it took me to do it.
Were you able to easily get off the exit for Charlie Adelson's house and then get back on again?
Yes.
And was the time it took to drive from Donna Adelson's 832 location in North Miami to Charlie Adelson's residence consistent with the estimated time?
It was. I was within just a few minutes.
Ms. Kappelman just reminded me, you said it was on the same day. Did you also do it at the same time of day?
I did, yes.
Okay, so Friday evening around between 8:30 and 11.
Yes, within just a couple of minutes of 8:32. It was a little hard to gauge my travel time to get to that exact point. Might have been off a minute or two when I crossed that specific point, but it was very, very close to the exact time of day.
And was the time it took to drive from Charlie Adelson's residence to her 1053 location consistent with the estimated time on Esri?
It was, yes.
Okay. All right, so moving on to the next day, July 19th. If you could walk us through the morning after the murder of Dan Markel, where's Charlie Adelson located at that time?
Charlie Adelson has locations consistent with his residence.
And what can you tell us about the communication from Magbanoa's phone that morning?
I can. So first we looked at her locations, and we recalled that we had that after 10 p.m. Cell site location where she was leaving the area of Mr. Rivera's residence. And actually the next locations that we have for her is the morning of July 19th. And we see again, this is slide 274, and we can see that her locations beginning at 9:44 would be consistent with her traveling south from the area of Mr. Adelson's residence to the area of either her residence or Mr. Rivera's.
Now, once or before this 9:44 a.m. Call, did she have some calls the night before that were routed to voicemail?
Yes, that were not, they did not reach the phone, yes.
What was her last location then before the locations we see here? Was it the 10:20 something location we saw from the night before when she's leaving Rivera's residence and talking to Charlie Adelson?
Correct.
Okay. And in the text messages between her and Charlie Adelson that night, she was planning to go over to his house that night because he wasn't feeling well.
Correct.
Okay. So looking at this slide, does it appear that her phone is then the first active location or the first active event with location we have? She's coming south down from Charlie Adelson's residence that next morning.
Correct.
Are you familiar with Catherine Magbanoa's statement that she spent the night at Charlie Adelson's home the night of Dan Markel's murder, and the next morning she took the money that he gave her for the murder to the area of Rivera's residence?
Yes.
Was there evidence of that in the phone records?
So what we see, again, back to your initial question as far as the cell phone or the call activity, we're looking at the summary of calls in the morning of July 19th. And we see those events that we saw on the map consistent with her travel south. She is attempting to call Mr. Garcia. So we have a number of outgoing calls between 9:44 and 9:46, including a text message where she's trying to reach Mr. Garcia.
When she can't reach Garcia, does she start trying to call some friends of his to try to get a hold of him?
Yes, so immediately after that at 9:47, she makes an outgoing call to Anthony Ortiz.
Does she also try to call Luis Rivera that morning to find Garcia?
She did not.
Okay. Does the attempted communication with Garcia stop at 10:31 a.m.?
Yes, so again, our first set of calls here, she's trying to reach Mr. Garcia. She's unable to. She calls Mr. Ortiz. And now what we see starting at 9:49, Mr. Ortiz is attempting to call Mr. Garcia. Luis Rivera is now attempting to call Garcia. And it starts this flurry of back and forth phone calls with Luis Rivera and Anthony Ortiz trying to find Mr. Garcia, or trying to reach Mr. Garcia. And that continues through about 10:20 in the morning.
Okay, so Magbanoa's calling Garcia's friend Ortiz. Ortiz is trying to call Garcia, and Ortiz also calls Rivera to try to get a hold of Garcia.
That is correct.
Okay. Eventually, do all of these attempted calls to Garcia stop, and at what point?
Well, they certainly tame down. What we see for the first time is at 10:20, so we've had this period of time where everyone's trying to reach Mr. Garcia. Catherine Magbanoa gets a call from Luis Rivera from his actual primary phone number, and they talk for about 1 minute and 40 seconds. So after that, then we see that Ms. Magbanoa communicates with Mr. Rivera a couple of times. She does again try to get hold of Mr. Garcia, but all of that concludes at about 10:30 in the morning.
And was there any evidence as to why there wasn't location data for Garcia that morning and why no one can get a hold of him?
He had say, dumped his phone. He had.
Objection, Your Honor, facts not in evidence.
Stand, please establish the foundation for the witness to testify to this.
What could you tell from his phone records, the evidence in this case, about why no one could get a hold of Mr. Garcia?
So Mr. Garcia's records indicate that in the early morning hours of the 19th, that phone left the network, was no longer in communication with the network. There are a number of inbound calls that never reach the handset. They do not produce location information or durations, so his phone is not in communication with the network. And that continues through the end of the records. That phone never returns to service, never makes or receives an actual phone call from that morning of the 19th through the duration of the records that we have.
What can you tell us about the locations of Rivera and Magbanua at 10:31 and the time period after that, once all of these attempted communications stop?
So again, we have the flurry of communications. That last call is at 10:31 a.m. And if we look at Ms. Magbanua's locations at 10:31, she is consistent with Rivera's residence, and Mr. Rivera's cell site locations are also consistent with his residence.
And are you familiar with Rivera's statement that he was able to find Garcia that morning at a girl's house and brought him back to Rivera's residence?
Correct.
Now, when is the next communication on Catherine Magbanua's cell phone after that with location data?
The next that we see is at 11:23 a.m.
This is about 50 minutes later?
Correct.
All right, and is her location at 11:23 a.m. consistent with Mascaro's residence?
It would be consistent with the way to Mascaro's residence.
Okay, thank you. Could this be consistent with her then leaving Rivera's residence after a period of time and heading back towards Mascaro's residence to pick up her children?
It could be, yes.
All right, switching gears again. Were you involved in securing a wiretap of some of the suspects in this case back in 2016?
I was.
What is a wiretap?
A wiretap is an active way for law enforcement to be able to gain information or intelligence. Everything that we've talked about in the historical records are just that, historical. We're getting records that already existed and having those provided to us. A wiretap is an ongoing intercept where we are able to, in real time, see the calls that are being placed, the outgoing, inbound, durations, all of those things, in addition to the content of most of those. So text message content and voice content, we're actually able to listen to those calls in real time while they're occurring. So this is a real-time, ongoing, active monitoring of the communications.
In order for a wiretap to be in place, does there have to be an order signed by a judge? That order has to be sent to the phone carrier so that the calls can be monitored by law enforcement.
Correct.
Were we able to monitor the content of the calls between the subjects in this case back in the time that these events happened, back in June and July of 2014?
No, again, we were investigating after the fact. All of that was historical. The carriers do not retain the content of voice calls. They don't record everything that you say and make it available to us. So we had no option to listen or know the content of those communications back then, outside of what we recover in text messages.
Okay, so the wiretap in this case is during the investigation, once law enforcement had identified the identity of these subjects and was trying to listen to see whether they talked about the crime.
That is correct. It is prospective. It is ongoing, real time.
All right, can you explain to the jury what type of equipment is needed for a wiretap?
Well, we use a variety of equipment. There is carrier-based equipment. They have equipment that is able to basically mirror those phone calls, that traffic, and provide it to law enforcement. We have equipment, computer servers that are able to receive that communication and then provide it to monitoring stations, which are essentially laptops. We have headphones and software that allows us to see this information. It decodes the information that is sent to us from the carrier. So we can see in real time, it pops up with the time of the call, the phone numbers, cell site locations sometimes, and other information. And if it is a call that has audio, then there's an indication that there's audio, and we're able to actually listen to that through the headphones.
Does the software give the listeners, law enforcement, the ability to stop and start the recordings?
It does, yes.
And are synopsis of the recordings done by law enforcement?
Yes.
Is there any involvement by the actual phone carrier, like the company?
There is, yes.
Is monitoring of the calls done live and in real time?
It is.
And do the people who are monitoring these intercepts have to go through a certain type of training in order to do that?
They do. They have to go through what we call minimization training. The interception of communications requires that non-relevant or communications that are not pertinent to the actual crimes be minimized or not listened to. So we call that minimization training, and everyone who listens to or has opportunity to hear any audio from the wire has to go through that training.
Okay, and are the people monitoring it also thoroughly briefed on the case?
They are. Part of that training is a requirement to read the affidavit that was authorizing the wiretap and to get a briefing from the case agents so that they know in great detail all the elements of the case so that they're able to detect during the phone calls if that conversation is actually relevant to some part of the investigation. They need to know financial things, relationships, hierarchy, those kind of things. So again, they are briefed by the case agent and they're required to read the documents.
If the phone conversation is not relevant to the crime or is privileged in some way, is there a mechanism to stop that recording by law enforcement?
Yes.
And is that the purpose of that to protect people's privacy if they're not talking about something relevant to the crime?
Yes, the purpose of that is to allow us to minimize those parts of the conversation that are not pertinent to the crime and in compliance with the order.
Is minimization a choice by law enforcement, or are they required to minimize irrelevant portions?
It's a requirement.
Okay. Are you limited in time, or is law enforcement who's listening limited in time, in the time that they have to decide whether what they're listening to is relevant to the crime or not?
There are a number of things that go into that. Time is one of them, yes. We have a guideline for how long we should listen to make that determination, and then we have some guidelines for how frequently we can come back and check the ongoing conversation to see if that conversation has turned criminal or turned into something relevant to the investigation.
So the officer can then go back in and listen in again to see if they are now talking about something relevant.
Correct. We call this spot checking.
And can the listeners of the call tell if a law enforcement officer is doing that?
The listener of the call, I'm sorry?
Can we, as the listeners here in the courtroom, tell if an officer is doing that?
Yes, in certain versions of the software, there's an audible tone to indicate that it's been minimized. There's printouts from the software that tells us when audio was listened to and when it was minimized. And there's just absences in the conversation, blank spaces where that recording did not occur.
And is the portion of the call, so the portion of the call that's minimized then is not recorded?
Correct.
When listening, though, and trying to decide whether something's relevant or irrelevant, are law enforcement officers also on the lookout for suspects trying to mask the meaning of what they're saying in case law enforcement's listening? Maybe they are talking about the crime, but they're using words that don't sound criminal in order to do it.
That's correct.
Is that quite common?
It is, yes.
Which phones were tapped in this case?
Mr. Charlie Adelson's and Ms. Catherine Magbanowa's.
And was that Charlie Adelson's phone number ending in 9223 and Magbanowa's phone ending in 1312?
That's correct.
Okay. And who supervised the wiretap in 2016 in this case?
A number of supervisors. I supervised from a technical standpoint to make sure that the information was being received and operating functionally. The case agent supervised the investigative standpoint. It's a representative from the state attorney's office to monitor the legal side of things, and we have to do periodic reports or updates to a judge during the ongoing wire, alerting him of our progress and seeking authorization to continue. So there's a good bit of oversight.
Roll tape. I'm ready to
And
listen.
who keeps or maintains the recordings of the wire calls?
A designated officer.
At TPD?
In this case, yes.
And those recordings, are they stored in a secure manner at TPD?
Yes.
On a few different recorded conversations throughout the wiretap, are you aware of statements made by Charlie Adelson that he does not know who Tudo is?
I am, yes.
In your review of Charlie Adelson's iCloud, like his text messages in the iCloud, were there messages where he and Magbanois are having conversations about mundane things, but he says Tudo to her? He refers to Garcia as Tudo.
He does, yes.
So the phone records indicate that despite what Charlie Adelson says on the wire, he did know Garcia's nickname was Tudo?
That would be from the iCloud return, but yes.
Okay. All right. I want to move on to the bump in this case, which the wire calls came after the bump. Can you tell us the date and time of the bump in this case?
So these are the records of Donna Adelson's communication during that time frame. This is 4/19 of 2016, and what we see is the bump happened at 1:47 p.m.
Who was Donna Adelson's first call after the bump? And meaning the bump is when the undercover agent approached her on the street.
The first call was to Charlie Adelson.
Did she call Wendy Adelson or Harvey Adelson during that time?
Immediately after, no.
Did she call Catherine Magbanois at any point?
No.
Anyone else associated with this case besides Charlie Adelson?
No.
And when was her first call to Charlie Adelson after the bump?
2:09.
So about a little over 20 minutes later?
Yes.
All right. Was Donna Adelson detained and charged in this case? I believe it was on November 15th of 2023.
Yes.
And we'll get into the details of that later, but what I want to talk about now is whether we were able to, on the day that she was detained and charged, was her cell phone taken by law enforcement and a cell bright done on that cell phone?
Yes.
And in the cell phone that was in her possession, was there evidence that Donna Adelson and Wendy Adelson talked about Charlie Adelson's trial, his November 2023 trial, and the verdict as it was happening?
Yes.
Were they on the
list? Are you familiar with Charlie Adelson's testimony in his trial that Garcia and Rivera killed Dan Markel on their own?
Facts on evidence, counsel's testifying.
Sustained as the counsel testifying, please establish the foundation for your question.
Okay. Judge, may we go to sidebar, please? Thank you.
May we go to sidebar, please? What's the argument here? This was admitted in another trial. I think there still has to be relevance. I don't know. Let's see what happens here if they let this come in. We get a sidebar briefly. We're waiting for this audio to come in. I'd love to hear exactly what was captured. Hopefully we can make heads and tails of what's said, and we don't have to be like psychic to understand the audio. Hey, don't mess with that. Don't touch it. It's a mic. That's our mic. He's like, oh, it's a pretty good bug. Yeah, it's a tiny mic. Amazing. That's the one we hear through. It's a good thing it's muted, or that would have sounded like an earthquake in our ears. Very scratchy earthquake. That's a lavalier style mic, which is tiny. Can be worn with a little clamp on your collar, but the main microphone with little foam ending there, that's the court's microphone. That just provides sound to the court system, the court recorder, sometimes on the speakers in the courtroom. But the one that's wrapped around it that goes up to the top, that's for us. That's just us. And those mics are like $400 or $500 each. They're not cheap. I don't get it. The hum is dependent on where I'm sitting. Doesn't make. It's like there's like a. I can make it disappear. Be in the right position. Is there a mic that's hot somewhere? 2, 3. Nope, only 2's hot. Okay, we'll get it. We'll get it figured out. It's when I move, but I think it's a grounding issue somewhere on something. It's not my desk lights. We'll figure it out. 48 volts gets you every time. Yeah, it's something. I'll randomly start swapping everything from AC power to my Jackery battery pack, which is puts out a pretty clean signal, energy wise. Let's see which item it is that's not filtered or something. It's probably just a ground somewhere. If I'm not careful, I'm going to shut the whole thing down. So, long sidebar here. I'm voting for a failing capacitor. I'm a power supply. Perhaps I'm bugged. You don't have to bug me. You could just take the live stream. It's online. Ground loop, good luck finding. Hey, I've only got like 80 wires to go through. There's a unique shot of the sidebar. Don't get that one very often. Everyone having been served properly.
At this time, we are going to take our lunch break for this morning. Once again, I'm going to instruct you not to discuss this case with each other or any other person. Also, as well, do not look at any other outside information or news on this matter. We will resume with the trial this afternoon at 1:20. Please be back by 1:15. Enjoy
a long lunch. So we're going to come back at 1:15 as well. Before you go, if you've been here and you loved it, please click the like button on the way out. This is the highest the likes have been in a long time. We like to see how high we can get it. We're at 1,736, as you see on the screen. If you are not one of those, the question is why. See if there's any argument that needs to happen here outside the jury's presence. It sounds like we're just going to lunch. It is 11:30. Judge
Everyone can be seated.
Judge said we had something to do at 11:30.
During the break concerning the evidentiary point for which this testimony is seeking to be admitted, we'll review while we're on break as well. Are there any other matters that we need to address?
Nothing from the state, Judge.
Not from the defense this time, Your Honor.
Please report back by 1:15 as well. At that time, we will continue with Sergeant Corbett's examination. After this portion of the examination, Ms. Dugan, will the state's direct be coming to a conclusion?
Will you repeat that, Judge?
After this part of the direct examination, will the direct be coming to a conclusion of Sergeant Corbett?
I would say I have
Another hour.
maybe
30 minutes left, 30 to 45 minutes.
Well, Sergeant, enjoy your lunch as well. This might be a record, 2 breaks.
Could be. Thanks, sir.
We'll see if we can get you off the stand before we rest for the evening. 1:15. Enjoy your break, everyone.
Thanks, sir.
All right, 1:15 is that's a nice long break for the jury. It gives the judge a chance to review whatever case law or arguments that were made at sidebar regarding this testimony about a previous trial, what was going to come in. So we'll see if that actually does. Why did that just move? I need that not to move. There we go. There's our likes. We've made 1,800. 2-hour break. It gives me time to take my package, which I have to send back to Sweetwater. I've got one of my hyperdecks that was failing. I need to send back to Sweetwater. Big shout out to Sweetwater. They sent me a new one overnight the next day. Well, it took 2 days because I didn't meet up with the FedEx guy. But they did send me a replacement hyperdeck quite promptly and able to get it installed and all set up. And now I just send the old one back. And even though the price had increased by an extra $100, they just covered it. So a big shout out to Sweetwater and their warranty system. I've never used their warranty system for anything before, but they do in fact warranty stuff for like 2 years after you buy it from them.
There's nothing in the order that restrains you from talking to cats.
Let's stay and get 2,000. I don't think we can get 2,000. That's gonna be a little tough to do that, but 1,800. That's quite impressive. Thank you all who clicked the like button. Appreciate that. We are going to portal over to our next live.
Now I'm trying to have court. Don't raise your voice again.
The sound effects are working. That's nice. Maybe the seats are fixed. I've been doing some work on that as well. Sorry, I've been sort of ignoring chat a tiny bit and just listening to court and doing some maintenance on the channel. So there are 2,000 people here. We could, I guess, if all of you clicked the like button, we would hit 2,000. We only need 187, 184 to do that. We could hit 2,000 likes, which would just be awesome. Before we end for lunch. Sad news out of Minneapolis, for sure, with a shooting at a church, a school mass. So it sounds like a Catholic school. At least 2 fatalities, up to 20 people have been shot. So the shooter has been contained. I don't know what that means. If that means restrained or deleted or something else. It's over now, except for the investigation. But just terrible news, and thoughts and prayers for them. So, man, lots of do the bump. We'll do the bump here at the end here. The shooter has been deleted, apparently. Was just over 2K. We've got 1,856 likes, so we need 144. Tell you what, if we get to 2,000, I'll fix the hum over lunch. Is that fair? Can I bribe you guys? Otherwise, I'm going to make it really, really loud, like this. Donna Turner, thanks for generosity. 5 gifted memberships. Many thanks for you guys. You guys have welcomed a lot of people in on the channel today through your generosity. So, it's gotta be.
Because he's the guy.
It's got to be something audio connected. So I've got to. Oh, you know what?
I don't like podiums, Your Honor.
It's my mic. It's this one.
There's nothing in the order that restrains you from talking to cats.
Okay, I can swap out that cable. Or I can run it through a different channel. It's channel 1. So probably what happens is I've got a power line that's, in all my messing with cables, I've run power too closely to the mic line, and it's not insulated well enough, so it's picking up a hum from another thing. But anyway.
You don't put a diplomatic plate on a hoopty.
You don't do that. You don't. That's just a terrible idea. Let's see. Anything else we need to talk about before?
Wanted to see me at sidebar.
Sidebar. The sounds are all working. I'm glad I got that fixed. I had to delete and recreate the connection to YouTube. I'll keep an eye on that. I will tell you,
sent me a video of roaches fighting. I don't know who won.
In the process of getting the sound fixed, I also fixed the first chatter alert.
I'm not a camel.
Once the stream starts, and that means as soon as there's a stream on YouTube, the first chatter gets points, and it will track how many times you've done that. It's already been tracking it, but now it'll work, and it will show up on screen who the first chatter was and how many times they've been it. So Bree, it showed up because I reset it today. You counted as the first chatter today. That's a freebie for you, but you've done it 3 times already. And that's...
If they didn't, I would lose my mind.
It doesn't mean this is different from being first in chat. They get the internet, but the first chatter gets points. And so... basically, as soon as we go live, you don't have to be first here in the chat to do it, but as soon as I go live, the first person to talk in chat gets the points for that. So there you go. I've given up. Oh, Bree, you were awarded it. You were awarded it today. I mean, not the internet ownership, but that's it. It's first in chat after the live stream starts.
This is not
first
Burger
in chat
King.
after the
People do
live
not
stream
get to have it
starts.
their way.
I think I'm about to catch a whooping.
Stop with the commands buffer. I just sent something and it was important, says Josh. Hang on, I missed it. If we get to 2,000, can we watch what I just sent to mod chat? What'd you just send? We might watch it anyway. Hold tight. Let's see if I can get here. What time was this one? Since we have a long lunch, I think we can do this. This was yesterday. Josh finding the good stuff from some of the little courts
There's
around the
nothing
country.
in the order that restrains you from talking to cats.
Thank you.
All right. This is a must watch, says Josh. 27 minutes, 34 seconds. Give me a second to get there. It is 27:34. Hang on.
Thank you, sir. You're my new best friend.
There we go. Josh will do it just for you because you told us about it and I don't want it to disappear. Where can I be? I've got to go small in the corner. Sorry, guys. I move right when they make room for me. That's nice.
Second one, your Citibank versus John Hayes.
Yes, and good morning, Joseph Jamal here on behalf of the plaintiff.
This is file 2425, and I've got another gentleman here, John Michael, who apparently has filed paperwork.
Yes.
Mr. John Michael, you've got semicolon Hayes, respondent. First of all, are you an attorney?
I am not.
Okay. So do you have, you're alleging in, I guess, all these documents that you're somehow a representative for John Hayes. Is that right?
That is correct, sir.
So how are you, or it says beneficiary. Do you have some paperwork giving you some authority to act for John Hayes today?
The UCC 1 that was filed.
What? No, is there an order, court order? I understand the rules and the statutes and the laws, but do you have anything that says, listen, you've got authority?
I have nothing other than the process of the United States Corporation that started the trust in my name.
Who started the trust in your name?
The Corporation of the United States of America after its bankruptcy.
What?
Oh, you went through a bankruptcy?
No, the United States of America, the corporation did.
Oh, I got you.
19.
So but you have nothing that says you can represent John Hayes then?
I'm not acting as surety for John Hayes, that is for sure.
All right, so we've got a motion to dismiss. I don't have an attorney that's filed a motion to dismiss. I guess, Mr. Jamal, let's hear that first, I guess.
Your Honor, I guess my understanding, you said motion to dismiss. Is that for plaintiff's motion for summary judgment you're referencing?
Well, you've got your summary, disposition motion that's out, but he's got also, it looks like his motion to dismiss, defendant's motion to dismiss. That's one I think is probably easier to deal with first.
Okay.
I don't even know what it, quite frankly, it is, but you did respond to it looks like. Plaintiff's response to defense motion to dismiss. Anything you want to tell me on that one, I guess?
Nothing further, but for the fact that, based on my understanding of the court rules, everything was filed as required by the law. No actual documentation is required with notice pleading state, of which Michigan is. Notice was provided since we have provided detailed account documentation supporting our claim. So I think his motion to dismiss related to failure to state a claim and lack of subject matter jurisdiction should both be denied.
Okay. And Mr. However you want to refer to yourself, John Michael?
John Michael, yes, sir.
Okay. What did you want to tell me about your motion?
Well, I asked all of the parties involved for validations, and I sent a statement of facts, and none of which were responded to. So that would be acquiescence to the truth of my statements, which should stand in truth and commerce. I asked for a contract and demonstration where there was adequate consideration giving, and did not receive any of that. It's my understanding that the consumer credit transaction or the application was taken by the Citibank and Best Buy to securitize the collateral to the Department of Treasury for their funds. They were paid, and now they're asking for me to pay in addition to that. I did not realize any of this was true until recently. And now if I am continuing to be required to make payment in any form of negotiable instruments, they are, in my opinion, are being unjustly enriched. They have never given me a contract with a signature. They've given me valid verification by bills and statements, but never anything that would demonstrate that they ever had anything at risk or that they lost anything. Therefore, without a contract, there is no standing, there's no claim to bring remedy to.
You find there's been significant number of documents that have been.
They pulled it, Josh. They pulled it right then, just now. Oh, man. Judges deleting their videos. How did it end, Josh? That's as far as we got. And I need to get you a hyperdeck. It's gone. It's gone. That's why I couldn't wait. It couldn't wait. Oh, man. Well, we got all the way up to 1,939 likes, or 1,940, which is just, it's cool. It's awesome. Book source 3 is going to be 4. How about that? There we go. So you can see we got 1,940. Thank you very much. Okay, obviously you saw us watching. This was yesterday. Yeah. They're like, hey, someone's watching our live stream from yesterday. Delete it. No, it was 23 hours ago, and I think they delete after 24 hours. So I was trying to pull it as quick as I could, but is Judge Simpson on? He probably is. I haven't seen him recently, but I need the outcome here. What was you watched this? First of all, we know that he's got a lot of big words, probably more big words than most soft sits. He's got some terminology, flowery language to try to.
Good job. I appreciate your help.
Thank you. Are we all set?
I think so. Lisa, are we done?
Oh, Judge.
I think so. Bozzy and Riddle, they were no-shows.
Did I recall those?
I missed those two.
Yeah, there was sentencing, there were no shows.
Okay, yep, we're good.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, you done? All right.
Judge gives a salute.
Thank you.
Gives a salute, and we're out. So he's done. Let's see if we've got any Judge Cedric Simpson, or if he's at lunch as well. We're all sort of in the same time frame. Oh, was that it? What's this? Judge Cedric Simpson. Hang on, we're looking. There he is. He's not live right now. Not seeing any other. Hang on one second. Let's see. You've got this going on, which is.
It is. And if you look back on page 1 of this appendix for the state police rules.
That's Michael Proctor.
A first offense class B carries no
Trying to get
more
his
than a
job back.
suspension without pay of 30 days, correct? Correct. And Michael Proctor was not charged with unbecoming conduct, correct? I don't believe he was.
Former Trooper Proctor. He's trying to get his job back. Don't think it'll be successful, but there's a chance.
Now, you also investigated Michael Proctor for this
This is live, I believe.
allegation of drinking on duty, correct? I did. And this
is day 2.
concerned a trip to the Cape in July of 22, correct? Correct. And it had nothing to do with the Karen Reed case, correct? No. And this came up only because you started to put a magnifying glass on Michael Proctor, correct? In the investigation.
Argument.
I thought this was cross-examined, sorry.
Yeah, still no argument is allowed under cross-examination, and counsel knows that.
Address me, not each other. Please, with the crosstalk. Okay.
Cut the crosstalk. No arguments allowed.
You started to focus on Michael, the department and you started to focus on Michael Proctor, correct?
No, the alcohol aspect became a focus of the investigation because that's what he testified to in the trial.
Okay, right. So he had volunteered that information?
Yes.
Okay, fine. In any event, it came up unrelated to Karen Reed's case, correct? Except it came up in the trial?
Correct, yes.
But July of 22 going
Yes,
to
sir.
the Cape had nothing to do with Karen
Unrelated
Reed.
to the Karen Reed
Right?
investigation, correct.
And so the trip to the Cape wasn't to go to the beach, correct?
No, it was not.
It was with another law enforcement officer, correct?
It was.
And
He's got a visitor
it was
badge.
to investigate a cold
Sticker.
case, correct?
With the barcode.
It was an unrelated invest, yes.
Okay. Cold case?
correct.
What is a cold case?
So I'm not assigned to the cold case unit, but it's typically a case that has been around for a certain amount of time, and as they get older and needs lessen, it becomes a cold case. Again, that's a very rudimentary.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. In any event, he went to the Cape on business, on job duty.
Correct.
To investigate, to speak to witnesses, correct?
He did.
And in the investigation that you conducted, his interview, I should say, he was completely truthful about what occurred that day, correct?
Correct.
The date on the witness's
all
badge
the
is
statements
today.
were confirmed by this auto vehicle locator device that are in the cruisers, correct?
It was.
And it was all, his testimony and his timeline was confirmed by the administrative log, correct?
Yes.
And when he went down to the Cape, he wasn't wearing a standard French electric blue state police uniform, correct?
I don't believe he was. No.
He would have been dressed as an investigator with a suit on, probably?
Most likely, yes.
Okay. And he told you that he went down to the Cape in an unmarked cruiser, correct?
Yes.
And he told you that he conducted interviews, correct?
Yes.
And he told you that on the way back, after working down the Cape all day, he went to dinner, correct?
Correct.
And he told you that he had 1 or 2 beers while he was having dinner.
He did.
And in fact, there's been a receipt produced from that dinner, correct? In this case?
Not to me, there was not.
We have Exhibit 39.
testified he drank in his patrol vehicle, right?
Is this appellate still in it?
Yes, it is. Sorry.
Anyway, this is going to go on for some time, as you can see from the binders.
Appellant's 39, APP 0263.
There's Michael Proctor, freshly shaved, top and bottom, meaning chin and head, I think. So give it to me. Give it to me.
Have you ever seen this document?
I have not.
Okay. And you're not aware of a receipt?
Prior to today, in preparation for today, yes.
You did see it?
Yes.
Okay. And so, are you familiar with the fact that this was an investigation by the local police department concerning that day?
Yes.
And they obtained from the Treehouse Brewing Company in Sandwich a charge for $34?
Yes, I do see that, yes.
Okay. And that was for the dinner and the drinks at that establishment, correct?
That's what it shows, yes.
And there was another stop where somebody purchased something else, correct?
Correct.
All right. Thank you. Now, Michael Proctor told you that he, by no means was he intoxicated as a result of having dinner and 1 or 2 beers, correct?
Correct.
And he never told you that the other officer was intoxicated, correct?
Correct.
And he told you also that when he went into the restaurant, he locked his firearm in his glove box, correct?
He did.
And that is appropriate per policy.
It is.
The law, correct?
I don't know if it was a glove box, but it was locked in an approved container.
Okay. And he did not inappropriately request overtime, correct?
He did not.
Look at it a moment. Could we go to Appellant's Exhibit 38, please, which is APP 0245?
Apparently this is a little bit spicy. Two sides not very happy with each other.
What was the exhibit again, sir?
I'm sorry, the APP number?
No, the
page
exhibit.
number. Page number is 0245.
We have 1,971 likes. 72.
20,
be 28 more.
38.
That's it. Just 28 more.
Appellant 38.
Oh, okay. I got it, sir.
All right. And so this is an email again from Suzanne Caravaggio to you, correct?
Correct.
And its subject is Proctor Report, correct?
Yes.
And the date is now Friday, July 26th, 24, at 11:36 p.m., correct?
Correct.
Late at night. And so Suzanne Caravaggio says, "Hi, Kevin. Attached, please find your report in Proctor with my latest additions and comments, questions. I'm on vacation next week and won't have access to my email, but you can reach me by phone with any concerns."
Yeah, so now with me, and
Oh, I'm sorry.
And I'm on vacation next week. I'm sorry.
I'll go back. I'm sorry.
You have to
I'm
slow
thinking
down.
everyone has this in front of them. I'm sorry. Let me go back. So this is an email from Suzanne, correct?
It is, sir.
And it's to you, Kevin Dwyer.
Yes.
The subject is Proctor Report, correct?
Yes.
And it's dated Friday, July 26, 2024, correct?
Correct.
At 11:36 p.m.
Yes.
The attachment is Proctor, case number, report, correct?
Yes.
And now this is a week after Michael Proctor's interview.
Correct.
And it reads, "Hi, Kevin. Attached, please find your report in Proctor with my latest additions and comments / questions," correct?
Yes.
She then goes on to tell you she's on vacation next week.
Correct.
Kelly, thank you very much for the gifted membership.
It's fair to say that Suzanne is making additional edits to your report, correct?
So again, the edits, I think it's important to point out that the edits are mainly grammar and formatting for the edits. The bulk of her, or what I'm looking for, is her questions and comments about what is in my report.
Okay. But in any event, this page now, this report has now grown to 16 pages, correct?
Yeah. And again, that goes back to whenever she makes a comment or an edit in there, it doesn't take out the previous written, it just adds to that.
Yeah.
Internal Affairs
So
testifying right now.
Page 14, which is APP 0259.
Yes, sir.
So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You have 11 charges there, correct?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, there are 12 charges, correct?
With the L, yes.
And are any of these findings different than the report you sent with sustained and not sustained findings before the interview?
Yes, it was determined that, I can't off the top of my head tell you which one, but some of them were, they covered the same aspect. So it was decided rather than have two separate ones to cover the same aspect, it was combined into one charge, or one file.
Okay, but my question is, the previous document we saw with the report with 12 findings.
Yep.
You now have a document a week after the interview. It still has 12 findings, correct?
I believe yes, I believe so.
And those findings that you had proposed before the interview have not changed now with this final editing process, have
They did not.
And so then after this report's done, he's been interviewed, the report gets finished, and it goes to Lieutenant Colonel Shoemaker, correct?
Correct.
And he's the designee of the colonel.
He is.
And were you aware that Suzanne and I were communicating as early as July 22 about scheduling a trial board before the report was submitted?
No, sir.
And I assume you're not aware either of, in early August, that I was questioning about a trial date for a trial board?
No, sir. I'm not involved in the communications.
Are you aware of the fact that the trial board was scheduled for September 5th?
We did it.
I believe. I can't say for certain.
We need to.
I can't say for certain.
We need to bail on that for a little bit. We need to bail. Here's what I'm going to do. We hit 2,000, by the way. Thank you very much. That is awesome. We haven't hit that in a long time. We have to take a lunch because we have to stop and restart. So we have to play this music. But at the end of this music, before the live stream ends, I will play Big Deal. How about that? Is that a deal? If I can find it. I found it. So Proctor is going to try to get his job back. I don't think that's going to be successful. Donna is going to find out just how much evidence comes in against her with this witness. The detective is on the stand when we come back from lunch, which will be at 1:15. A couple other things happening. Obviously, some big news events around the country. Thoughts and prayers to all those who are affected. It's terrible. It's really terrible. You guys be nicer to each other. Just be good. Don't hurt people. That's the rule. I'd love to be put out of a job because there were no more crimes to charge. There are no more trials to watch. I would be okay with that. Tonight when you go home, please hug the people you love. Smile at someone, make their day just a little bit better. Please stay safe to go live right after lunch. 1:15, court starts at 1:20. Don't be late. First person in chat after the live stream starts gets bonus points. It could be you. You don't have to be first in the chat window. It's the first person to talk on the live stream after that logo comes up and I start come live. So be here for that, and it could be you. Anybody could win. It could be anybody. So we are going to portal over there. It is all set up, so have no fear. Keep your arms and legs inside the ride at all times. Grab your portal buddy. Do all that. But we'll portal. The portal won't happen until after Big Deal is over. How about that? All right. We're all good.
according to your brain like it's an end zone. My money's green like the pickles and you want some. Don't interrupt cause I don't want your lame objection. From lead t-shirts to murder, I think I've seen it all. From picking juries to when the gavel falls. The judge takes the bench and the bailiff yells, all rise and pay respect to the one and only go to true crime. Imitators, they try but they just can't achieve. And when they fail they be like, ow, I stepped on a bead. Take the stand and the jury chooses not to believe, because there will never be another creator like me. Big deal in one corner and the count in another. We've got the judge reading chat while we talk to the lawyers. All our clips go viral, they're the good not to share. Came in late, check the thumbnails, you'll find it all there. They say I'm addicted to rhyme, but it's more than just time. And the mic is hot, the gavel drops, and I'll be talking about crime. And don't you worry about the sound, cause I'm keeping it real, just like a pickle jar, but I'm one big deal. They say I'm addicted to rhyme, but it's more than just time. And the mic is hot, the gavel drops, and I'll be talking about crime. And don't you worry about the sound, cause I'm keeping it real, just like a pickle jar, but I'm one big deal.
There you go. There's our big deal wrap. You guys have a great lunch. We'll see you afterwards. Be good to each other. See you in a little bit. Bye-bye.